down, shake. See your face in the crowd, but you don't seem so far away. The only thing between us is empty space, empty space. Even when the music is loud, I'd rather be no other place. Here with you now, here with you now.
Hello and welcome back to the SciStorm Esports Network. I'm your host, Chicken Man, here to bring you your weekly esports results and highlights from all the major tournaments going on this past week. Let's start with the biggest esport tournament ever to exist this week, the International. Things kicked off with the regional qualifiers for the massive Dota 2 tournament as the South American and Eastern European teams fought for the single qualifying spot in each region.
Too powerful! Wish! This gets blown up eventually! The Aegis! It will get popped, but he's coming back up again. And do they have enough to take out Kostabile? Because it does not look like they do as they blow up Wish, and they're gonna focus on this throne. This is looking like the end here, Purge. They tried to throw everything they could, but Kostabile will not be stopped, cannot stop, and there it is. SG is going to the International.
Up comes and Team Spirit ready to go in. Taro
Off-sentry combo on the low ground.
walks forward. Alacrity onto Smiling Knight. They want to find that back line, but the Curse Crown is there. Oh, the stun, it catches
Oh, there's
afterwards,
two.
and there's the call. What a connection. Yataro jumps in. Never a chance. Team Spirit makes the play, finds the kill. They're going to TI Trent, and they're going to be very happy about it indeed.
Team Spirit and SG Esports are the first teams qualified for the International. The rest of the regions will play over the next couple of weeks to see who will join the invited teams, and the group stage starts on August 5th. That's all the Dota news this week as everyone is preparing for the International. But let's head over to League of Legends, where just like last week, we have a huge amount of games to cover. We'll get started in North America with the LCS, where TSM and 100 Thieves are currently tied for first place in the group stage.
But it's secured by Spica. FlyQuest cannot get the steal. They jump in. They're trying to go for the YOLO play. You only live once, but you're gonna die twice. What in the hell is this? What?
Run.
Palafox is going in. The fight ain't done. Palafox is gonna die. Dreams is gonna die. It's a conga line down the top lane river.
100 Thieves also doing well in the LCS Academy. Their Academy team holding down the top spot as they head into Week 5.
He just goes straight forward. The ulti is good enough for Mezio from downtown. It's Team Luke that's going to finish off the fight. And Viego's still living, but Contracts, he's chasing for more. He wants to get this kill. He will nab it. And now Harry has nothing he can do. Contracts going to pop the stopwatch. Team Luke is getting in there. Harry actually finds the outplay. And now he's going to defend the base. But Contract is going around as Harry makes an anime in his own base. Will actually defend it. So nice from the Viego as Contracts is strong, but not that strong.
In Brazil, it's Flamengo Esports still undefeated in the Campeonato Brasileiro. For the Turkish Champions League, Galatasaray Esports and NASR Esports are both undefeated and tied for first. In the League of Legends Japan League, it's Rascal Jester in the top spot. In Latin America, Infinity Gaming is holding down first place with 3 teams tied for second right behind them. For the League of Legends Pro League in China, we have Edward Gaming and LNG Esports with undefeated records.
These spears can't do. Doomby gets out, Callista does fall. The rest of the solo laners from the side of RNG are here, but it might be a little bit too little too late. Here's the showstopper. Doomby has fallen. Now it's a 2v4. As you can see, Xiaohu and Cryan trying their best. The hail of arrows is enough to take down the Crocodile in the mid lane. Double kill for LWX. Triple kill for LWX. Gets his first 3 kills of the game, and that might just be the game as SPX are 4 men strong.
The LCK had games in both their main league as well as the Challengers League. Genji Esports and Damwon Gaming, along with their Challengers League counterparts, are in the top 2 spots of each of those group stages.
Cast, you're just going to pay for it, you're going to die. Well, it goes empty, they're engaging onto Rich, probably the target that Nongshim want them to engage onto, but that is the change. They are going to connect onto Peanut. Means that these arrows land so easily as Lava distorts forward, distorts back to keep himself alive as Gori does go golden, but he's in a precarious spot now. Henna just free hitting off the backside. Hoya doing ridiculous things on the Gwen as we expect. And Fred and Breon are just steamrolling this game. I mean, this game.
And finally, the League of Legends European Championship has Misfits Gaming leading the pack.
It's not going to be enough. It is Mickey that goes down first, Caps that goes down second, and Labrov goes all the way forward, just unable to find the death sentence. 3 members of G2 blown up from a fantastic flank.
Without hesitation, self-made kicks Caps in the face. Reckless is going to lose his life as well, and in dominating fashion, Vitality are smashing.
Those tournaments will be running for at least a few more weeks, in some cases well over a month, so we'll have plenty of league results for you every week as we get closer to the World Championships, which the winning teams from these brackets will be qualified for. Don't forget to subscribe so you can keep up with those results as they roll in. Now, to cap off our MOBA segment today, the Heroes of the Storm Community Clash League has narrowed down their teams to the top 4.
That's gonna be it, most likely. The leyline seal apocalypse combo wasn't good enough, as Granite had an impossible choice to make. They kept trying to find a window, find it over and over in those difficult situations, but Wildheart outlasted them, outpaced them. They had the macro advantage, they had the early top push that made such an issue for Granite in their defense. 2 impossible choices, Granite doubted in the middle, and now Wildheart going for the core. 2-1, they're gonna make it 3-1, GG.
Going to be a lot of damage onto this Johanna, but the gust misses. It doesn't matter. The Johanna still goes down. Nasmus is getting very low on the Dahaka. He gets picked off as well. A double kill goes over to the side of Chili Mountain as they're chasing in onto this Junkrat. An unstoppable Azerite is able to back away. Heavy trying to make some big plays. Make is gonna force them away. Traded does get the VP. Face shift from Heavy is gonna be available.
What's up, guys? Welcome. All right, this is KJ Freedom. How you guys doing? I am here with Seth. How you doing, Seth?
Great. How are you?
I'm good.
It's a very exciting day. We have our first day of LAS.
That's right.
First, I want to thank Sidestorm Gaming for letting this, making this possible, and putting this together so that we can have our LAS support our fundraiser.
That's right. And we're glad to host you guys here on the Sidestorm Esports Network. That's what you guys saw right there. Highlights of different games, including the MOBAs. And we have a MOBA tonight, League of Legends. So we'll let you talk about that and what this whole tournament is all about.
Yeah, so this tournament is called LAS. So L stands for League of Legends, which is the game that we're going to be playing. And the A stands for the UNCO, which is our fundraising to raise funds to send kids to school, right? UNCOP stands for Answering the Cry for the Poor. And we'll talk about that more as we go on through the season. We'll have more videos to show you what it's all about. But basically, we're doing this fundraiser to generate funds to support our UNCOP program. Now, to do that, we're using a tournament style for esports gaming, using the game, a MOBA game, League of Legends. And, we're going to talk about that more. But first, I'd like to bring in our commissioner and also our casters for today. And they're going to be joining us. And we have Keyline and Raph. Let's bring them in right now. And so, welcome Keyline and Raph. If they could turn on their videos, our professional casters here. Looking good. Look at that.
There they are.
How are you?
Hey, everyone.
Hi, Keyline.
What is up, everyone?
Raph, how are you guys doing?
Doing great. We're pumped.
Doing all right. Doing all right.
Game 1.
Can't wait.
So we have our commissioner here, Keyline, who's running this LAS. He's put together the teams itself. He's put together the schedule. And so I'd like Keyline to talk about that a little bit more.
All right. Thank you so much, Seth. Hi, everybody. My name is Keyline. And so just a little bit about our tournament here. And shout out to Sidestorm Gaming and to ANCOP for helping us put together this tournament. And so we'll have a 5-week regular season where we'll be playing 2 games every week. That's going to be on Mondays and Tuesdays at 7 p.m. It's going to be the same time every week. And each night, 2 teams will face off and play three games. So no matter the outcome of those first 2 games, that third game will always be played. And each of those 3 games will count toward that team's season record. And at the end of the 5-week regular season, we'll be holding a 3-week playoffs. Each round is going to be a best of 5 game. So minimum of 3 games, maximum of 5 games per night. That dreaded game 5 that everybody so badly wants to win. And because we have 4 teams, it's going to be a simple 1 through 4 bracket there.
Great, thanks. We also have here, because I'm not an expert in League of Legends. I actually just dabbled with it. But we have our resident expert here, Raph, to join us to cast these games. So, we can sound like we know what we're talking about. So thanks, Raph, for joining us. Do you have anything to add to this tournament that we're having?
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. By no means do I claim to be an expert, but one thing that we really wanted to emphasize, right, is this welcoming community for the League of Legends gamers, right, or even new players. The way that it was structured was we had a sign up and we compiled all of the players and tried to distribute all these players based on skill level. That way we almost get everyone involved, right? Whether you're a new player, whether you're an experienced player, it doesn't matter. We want to encourage everyone to join. So if you are a new player, upcoming player, come join us. We do have future plans. We're trying to see, this is again our pilot season. We're looking into seasonal splits just the way LCS does it. So we would call this our summer split, right? But we're looking into doing this in the winter season. So you guys have a couple months to do some training, to join in, hop in on the fun, and all for a good cause. So Keith, anything else to add to that?
No, but we want to make sure that, again, you all are tuning in, but also, wanting to learn and play with us, because this is something that we'll hope to extend in the future, and hopefully you all will be a part of that. And so with that said, let's talk a little bit about the schedule for the season. Like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be a 5-week season, but tonight's showcase is going to be an exhibition game so that you all can get a feel for some of our players. And pulling up our schedule for the season.
So we can have our admin show our schedule here. But so this is a 4-team setup right now. So hopefully in the future we'll have an East-West or multiple divisions, and we'll have a lot of players. But like what Raph said, this is our pilot season, and we'll see how it goes. And there it is. We have their schedule up. Can you talk about more of that schedule, Kiran?
Yeah, and so our 4 teams are Team Joe Mama, Team Rocket, Charlie and the Pentakill Factory, and SFC Telecom T1. So as I mentioned before, the games will be happening on the Mondays and Tuesdays every week, with our first official game between SFC Telecom T1 and Charlie and the Pentakill Factory.
I like those team names, right? Joe Mama, but I especially like the SFC Telecom T1. Is that made up of Korean players there?
Yeah, I think they're Korean Filipino.
So why don't we actually let's go over each of the teams itself, so we can have the admin. We'll go through each of the team and team members, so we can showcase those that are participating, and actually participating for a good cause here, right? And let's go through each of the team members as we get there. But so we have team captains from each one, or how did they come up with the Charlie and the Pentakill?
Yep, so Charlie and the Pentakill Factory is led by Charlie Reyes, in-game name Chale. And Charlie and the Pentakill Factory will actually be part of tonight's showcase going against Team Joe Mama. So the 2 teams that are named after their captains will be duking it out in our showcase match tonight.
So there it is. There you see the players there. Charlie Reyes, the team captain. But we've got Oyo, Joey. I don't know if that's their screen name in the games, but these are the real players, and it looks like a very formidable team there.
Mm-hmm. And so, for that team, Charlie and the Pentakill Factory, their starters tonight will be Jolly Boy at the ADC position, Oyolicious in the support position, Neozone at mid, Shorty will be their jungler, and Chale, team captain, will be at the top.
Great. I'm going to be asking a lot of these questions on all those terminologies that you've named about junglers and support and all of that. But let's move on to the next team. Actually, I want to thank all those who are joining us tonight. We have over 72 viewers. As a matter of fact, the way we have this set up is, the funds that are raised are based on the number of viewers. So we've already exceeded our goal for tonight, which is great. So thank you those who are watching. But we have our Team Rocket here, and talk about that Team Rocket real quick.
And Raph, I'll pass this on over to you, because it looks like you might be a little familiar with Team Rocket.
All right, so Team Rocket blasting off away. We got team captain myself, Raph Bustos, at the jungle position. Make sure you take care of your own jungle because I'll be in there. We have Kirk Lorena running top. We have Kim, Manny, and Matt rotating between the bot and mid lanes. And Ricky, the stud, will be playing as an alternate. Our team, I think, is the season favorite. Looks like we have a strong run for the championship title here. So for the pilot season, looks like we have this in the wraps. Thank you, Keith.
I was going to ask who are the higher seeds and how would you rank them from 1 to 4? But I guess it's self-proclaimed by Raph here that their team is the highest rank here. Is that correct, Elon?
We might have to have a power ranking following the first week of official games, but I'm not gonna lie, Team Rocket is looking pretty good.
All right, so we have our third team. The admin puts it up. See, we have. So Ricky is setting out for the next game, is he? Okay. All right, so we have the Korean players, SFC Telecom Korean Filipino players. SFC Telecom T1. I'd like to get Paolo in here to talk about his team, but I guess go ahead, Key Lime, just talk about the players that we have.
So this is going to be a dark horse throughout the season. SFC Telecom T1 is poised to make a really good run, led by their team captain Paulo Cornelio, whose in-game name is Barely Noah, and joined by Carlos Cardino, David Climaco, and Joe Doral. Kurt Ogonoy and Rovi Peralta serving as their alternate.
Great. And last but not the least, we have our fourth team. Let's see. All right. Joe Mama. We have our
drum roll.
Drum roll. We have our commissioner / player is going to be talking about. I don't know if you're the team captain for this group.
I absolutely am not. So Team Joe Mama is led by team captain Joe Dong Waka Waka Waka. He is our flex position. This man can do it all. He is a Swiss Army League player. Joined by Lauren Bowie, Big Bowie, who will be playing the mid lane, holding it down, not getting killed ever. It is impossible to gank this woman, and she is gonna hold it down. With our bot lane of Ilian Burgos, aka Trillion, and Neil Toriano, Neilio, and our top laner Will Two Noobs, Suros. And myself will be posing as the alternate for the team. Yes, they are that good that I am the alternate.
All right, this is actually getting me pumped up. I want to see how each other dukes it out. But tonight is not an official tournament season scheduled match. It's a show match for tonight. And who do we have playing tonight? Remind me again.
So that'll be Team Joe Mama and Charlie and the Pentakill Factory.
All right, so without further ado, I think we can get started with our games. Have we kicked off their picks? And I think we can watch that, right? So we can talk about that more in terms of who they pick. And there we go. So up to you guys. Talk about the importance of who picks what, and the mechanics in banning. So yeah, Raph, you're the resident expert here.
Yeah, we're gonna hand it off to you guys. We'll see you guys later. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, guys. All right, so for all of you league newbies, or if it's your first time watching a league match, the way the game works is at each end or each corner of the map, there are these things called the nexus, right? So when you're playing league, you want to take out the enemy nexus while protecting your own. The way the map looks, if you look in the stream here, there's a top lane, there's a mid lane, and a bottom lane, right? There's a clear path for each. In between those lanes, you see almost like a forest. That's what we call jungle. And each
That's where
lane
Raph lives?
That's where I live. And each lane, they have what they call minions, or these things that you kill, right, for gold, and that gold turns into items, making you stronger and giving you the ability to essentially, fight enemy champions. Champions meaning the characters that these players are playing. Each lane, they're responsible for, one, not dying, right, because deaths do give money to the team that gets the kill, and also farming, which is the mechanic where you're killing minions for that gold. These lanes are protected by these what we call towers, almost like turrets. If an enemy walks into the tower range, it starts shooting you, dealing a great number of damage, right? So there's that mechanic where you fight under tower or you push against someone's tower, and you'll see that in this game today. But what we're seeing right now is the champion select screen. They're going through a banning phase, right? And so the way this works, typically, the conventional method is identifying which champions do these players play the most, or which champions are going to make a large impact for that given team, right? So in that case, like my approach would be, let's identify the best or the X factor player from the other team and identify which champs they usually play. When we ban them, that champion, that character is no longer available for selection. Therefore, that player must select someone else that maybe they're unfamiliar with or someone they don't play regularly.
So
anything else I missed there?
Yeah, so for the last 2 weeks, all of our players have been scrimmaging with one another, getting a feel for how each other's plays, who their main champions are. So you'll see some of the bans here coming in on Team Joe Mama, banning Ari and LeBlanc, who are Team Captain Chale's main champions. We have a Mordekaiser ban over on Team Joe Mama as well, and that's a main character for Jolly Boy. And so you'll see that first phase of bans, you can only ban 3 champions. So you'll have to let some of the champions go through, and we'll see if the teams were able to take advantage of that.
And as they're selecting their champions here, one thing I wanted to note is that each given lane has almost a template character, right? There are 5 players, but we only see 3 lanes and 1 jungle. So the conventional or the meta setup is one person, 1 player goes top, 1 person, 1 player goes mid, and then there's going to be 2 players in the bot lane. Typically, the 2 players in the bot lane, 1 plays a damage-heavy character. The only caveat or catch to that damage-heavy character is that they're what we call squishy. So that's going to be a term you'll hear a lot. Squishy meaning they're easily killable, right? So the second player in the bot lane, they typically play a champion or character that protects that champion, right? The damage-heavy carry, and also engages on the opposing team, right? So that's a typical meta or setup. And then there's also 1 player that you'll see in the jungle. The jungler, which is my main role, is a character that goes through the jungle killing what we call neutral camps that give you experience and also gold, and that's how they also build their items. The jungler will go and rotate between the lanes, almost what I'd call, what is it? Like, what's the word? Ambush, right? Like you're ambushing the other team where they least expect it. So that's what the jungler typically does. In the jungle, you'll see, it's hard to see in the stream right now, but in the jungle where there's a river, there's almost like a semicircle in both the top side of the map and also the bottom side. In these semicircles exist 2 very strong, what we call monsters, jungle monsters, and these monsters give the team almost a buff, like a way to get stronger, right? And so the junglers are also responsible for that. And so here we have all the champions selected. Keith, you want to break down what we see here?
Yep, so here on Team Joe Mama, we're going to have Trillion again as the ADC, providing damage with Tristana, who towards the end of the game is going to have a lot of range, which is really helpful for breaking down turrets. Another late game champion in Kale. So looks like they're going to be pushing to extend the game as long as they can, with Big Buoy using Ziggs, again putting a lot of damage in those turrets, so that when those cooldowns are going to be really long for those the death timers, I should say, they can take full advantage of that push at the end. With Dr. Mundo in the jungle, Dr. Mundo is a very tanky champion and has a lot of sustain, so they'll be able to keep fighting for longer. And with Nelio at the support with Zillion has the ability to revive enemy champions, or keep them from dying, I should say. Again, just being able to extend fights and extend the game, and I think that's what their Team Joe Mama's game plan is going to be. Any thoughts on Charlie and the Pentakill Factory there, Rap?
Yeah, so we have Shorty, playing Shyvana. Is that the jungler or top?
So that is the jungler, and I've been watching Shorty's games. He is a big fan of the AP Shyvana. So for those that are new to the game, there's going to be a couple of different types of damage. The attack damage, which is more of the physical damage, versus AP damage, which is ability power. Those are coming from the more magical looking abilities.
Right. And just moving along here, we have Charlie running Diana, which he's a very, very good Diana player. So that's going to be something to see here. I know you mentioned earlier, we have Big Booey Ho running Ziggs, who is, she's a very safe but very, very tactical player. Very hard to kill, like you mentioned, even with a jungler coming into ambush. So it's going to be a key matchup there with Charlie playing Diana. I know he may get a little frustrated when he doesn't get steamrolling with some kills. So that's something to see. Next, we have Jolly Boy Oya running Set, another pretty tanky champion there. We have Nautilus at support with Neozone, and Ashe ran by Mother Duck Joey. It looks like these teams are pretty well balanced. We have a fair share of very beefy champions, and so for those tuning in for the first time, these beefy champions, these tanks, what we call them, typically are the front line, right? They're there to make sure they soak up the damage instead of your damage heavy champions taking all that damage. So here I think the determining factor would be who gets the best engagement, who gets to the back line. Again, we have a very good front line for both. I do give the edge here to the Nautilus, Set, and Shyvana just because they're all tanky and they can also engage very well. But
They have so much CC.
Right, but we'll see how well the sustain is for the other team, where we have Zillion, right? What you mentioned, preventing champions from dying. We have Kale also, who has an ability that prevents herself or another teammate from dying. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be an interesting matchup.
Yep, there's tons of wombo combo potential, especially on Charlie and the Pentakill Factory there. Between the ults for Nautilus, who is basically a heat-seeking missile to knock everyone up. Ashe, who has an arrow that can stun. And Diana, who's able to bring everybody to a central location. So lots of abilities that really synergize with one another there.
Right.
It's going to be an exciting game.
It is. So, between us two, who's your pick?
I'm going to have to go with my team. I don't know if I'm going to be able to join them if I say otherwise, but Team Joe Mama is looking pretty good here. And
okay.
I really think the sleeper here is going to be that bot lane between Trillian and Nelio. Like I mentioned, I think this is going to go a long game, and once those death timers are long, they're going to be able to have that one key team fight at the end, and they can make a really great push there.
Okay, so here we are. This is what we call the Summoner's Rift. This is the map where everything goes down. As the players load in, for those who, again, the new viewers for League of Legends, this is where you start. There's a shop there where you buy your items with the gold that you accumulate. And then here, what I want to see is how each team plays the level 1. When we say the level 1, there are no minions so far. No one really goes to their lane just yet. Essentially, this is the prep, right? They're looking to see, they're almost scouting to see what the other team is going to do or what their setup's going to be like. So as we can see here, we have Charlie and the Pentakill Factory there on the bot side of the map. Joe Mama, they're also on the bot side of their map, protecting their jungle. Typically, you'll see some teams invade where, they go into the enemy jungle, and then that's where we get some fighting going. But here it looks like both teams are playing it safe. Any other commentary there?
And it looks like we have the top laner separating from their team versus on Team Joe Mama. So it looks like they're not going to be making any pushes to go into Charlie and the Pentakill Factory's jungle there. Whereas, looks like our top laner on Charlie and the Pentakill Factory saw that coming and is making his way towards top so that he's not going to lose any gold there.
One thing that is almost interesting is Joe Mama, they did send that Kale up top. It's almost as if they weren't expecting an invade, right? Typically, if you think the other team is going to invade, you're going to bring all your players down. or you suspect that. But here we see the mid lane, Charlie against Lauren. That's going to be an interesting matchup. What we see here is in the jungle, the bot lane leashing for the more stronger jungle camp so that the jungler can easily take out that
And
monster.
one thing to note here, you'll see on the Team Joe Mama side that they have 2 players with teleport. Now, for those tuning in that are new to the game, if you see on both the left and right side, next to each champion, you'll see a couple of different colorful spells there. The purple spell allows the champion to be able to teleport to a tower, an ally tower or an ally minion or an ally ward. So being able to be all over the map at once, and on Team Joe Mama they have that teleport advantage with 2 to Charlie the Pentakill's Factory's 1 teleport. So it looks like Team Captain Chale there is running Ignite to be able to get that early kill and get himself snowballing throughout the game.
And that's what I think would also be the X factor for Charlie and the Pentakill Factory. If Charlie does get steamrolling, he's quite tough to stop. So him choosing Ignite over Teleport. So for those who are new, Ignite is a spell that inflicts more damage, a sustained damage to the opponent, also prevents healing. And a very aggressive spell as opposed to what Keith mentioned, picking Teleport. Because what happens is if you've accumulated enough damage, right, you're gonna what we call back to your base. And then when you're back at your base, you recover health and you can go back to your lane. However, that process between going back and walking all the way to your lane is quite a lengthy process. You may lose a bit of farm, gold potential, and so teleport cuts that process, right? Being able to teleport
here,
to your
we'll see Ashe taking a lot of damage from that bot lane between Tristana and Zillion.
That was a very good exchange from Joe Mama here.
Yeah, and looks like Joe Mama's winning on a couple of different fronts here with 2 noobs putting down some damage. And here we'll see Shyvana right by the bottom lane.
Exactly. Let's see how bot plays out here.
And if you see on your mini-map on the bottom right-hand side, you'll notice that that Dr. Mundo in the enemy side jungle, still waiting patiently for a gank up top.
It looks like Shyvana's returning to her own jungle, so we'll see if they bump into each other. That's going to be a good fight there. That does happen. A lot of pressure in the bot lane here.
Lots of pressure, and oh, that was very aggressive. And the first blood is going to go over to Team Joe Mama for Nelio. So it looks like both supports pick up the kill, as Nautilus can return that kill.
So one thing to note is every kill will give you a certain amount of gold, but getting first blood gives you an additional bonus. So the team that got first blood, that's going to give you a gold advantage, at least for that given lane. But I'd say it's still a fairly even exchange here. Let's check the farm count. And how do we do that? Farm is looking fairly even.
Yeah, there's a slight farm advantage on the red side here. As you can see from the top, they're global gold. They're up by just a little bit under 400 there. Or it's 300.
Yeah, it looks like Charlie is out farming Lauren here. So when we say farming, that's again killing the minions for gold. And so Charlie should have the item advantage. Items do give you more bonuses, giving you more strength in lane and also in fighting.
So once again, lots of pressure on the top lane, and it looks like Trillion and Nelio are looking for another fight here.
What I would like to see from Charlie and the Pentakill Factory is that Shyvana the gank. We have top and bot extended pretty high up. That's a great opportunity to gank, right? Ambush them.
And so a lot of the players are starting to hit level 6. And for those that aren't aware, when you hit level 6, that's when you get your 4th ability, which is the ultimate ability. Really, abilities that can turn a fight around.
We see Charlie coming down bot here. This looks like a huge fight. Here we go. Somehow, Momma still pulls off a kill on the ADC, which is the damage heavy. Will they
And there's the hook by Nautilus.
Here we go.
And a great ult from Big Buoy from mid lane, but not quite going to get the kill on Charlie.
Not enough. So Charlie and the pentakill factory extending their gold lead here.
Again, that successful bot from Chale making use of the ignite like we mentioned earlier to get those early kills and get himself snowballing.
Yeah, so what I failed to consider earlier when we talked about the mid matchup between Lauren and Charlie is Lauren will be difficult to kill. However, Charlie is a very mobile player as a whole. As you saw there, typically the jungler is the one that's performing these ganks or ambushes, but mid laner dropped down, got that kill.
Especially with Diana, Charlie is able to get anywhere in the map and really able to jump into the carries and the squishies really easily with that that Q ability. And here we'll have and we have a TP coming in from the top lane.
A little late on that, but looks like Joe got out just in time.
He was able to, at the very least, stop the fight between Charlie and Dr. Mundo, but it does leave two noobs with Kale up top being able to hit this tower and hit that top tower and get some gold.
We see another gank coming down bot, looks like. No.
And Two Noobs still has his teleport if he wants to make a play for that dragon. It looks like the junglers are staying away from it because they do both have vision on it. So they're playing a little bit little tame here. Still probably trying to get a feel for each other.
Right. So that dragon objective in the bottom side of the river will give them a bonus, right? A team bonus. And as a jungler, one thing that we're looking out for is some vision on where the jungler is. Because, for example, if we see Dr. Mundo or Shyvana on the top side of the jungle, then that's almost like a free dragon, right? We want to collapse on that. While the jungler's away, we take advantage of that positioning.
And it looks like Jolly Boy here is trying to start a fight, but Two Noobs just has way too much range.
What makes Kayla a difficult matchup is not only the range, but also the movement speed. It's kind of hard to get up close.
And as she levels up, that range is just going to increase, making it that much more difficult towards the end of the game.
So Keith, it looks like your team here has very, very good late game potential, but they definitely need to close the gold lead here, the gap.
Yep, so they're definitely going to have to keep up on the farm. And here's...
Boy is committing here. This is huge. Can Kale get away? And they opt not to dive. We do have Joe hanging around in the jungle right there.
And that's a flash burned by top lane Jolly Boy. So good job on Kale to be able to escape that. Also burning their flash.
That's a huge gank. You never really see 3 champions go top just for that. Charlie and the Pentakill factory invested a lot. Not much on the return there.
Looks like they're gonna make their way towards mid, and Big Buoy was able to see that in time to get away.
Interesting. We are at the 11-minute mark. No jungler yet has made any plans to take dragon. This will be a late game, like you mentioned.
Yeah, and I myself am a big fan of Infernal, so I would have, taken steps to make that happen sooner rather than later.
I totally agree, but with the exchanges that have been going on, it looks like there's a lot of lane pressure right now, but it looks like Charlie and the pentakill factory is going to make a play. Down bot. Will bot get out in time? So it looks like Ash tried to engage, start the fight there. But Team
We're going to see
Momma,
that damage coming in onto Charlie.
Here we go.
Ooh, a missed hook there that could have sealed Tristana's fate.
Oh, they're diving here.
Get it anyway with a
How will
great
this play
dive.
out?
Zillion was able to. Oh,
How's
looks
this
like he
gonna
might
play
get
out?
this double kill here.
He is fighting without minions here. Do we see the kill? Yes, we do. So here you get the 2 for 2. I am not a fan of that dive, that decision. One being because the jungler themselves died here, right? And so that removes your potential to get Dragon. It is still an even exchange, but if Joe Momma does decide to go for Dragon, it's a hard contest without the Charlie's jungler here.
But Shorty is back up with the Shyvana, and we'll see if Waka Waka will make a push for that Dragon, or at the very least get rid of Red Team's vision around the jungle.
Yeah, as Shyvana right now, it's quite hard to commit to the Dragon just because Kale is pushing top very hard on Oya. So that's an easy, again, gank and ambush potential, but you don't want to give presence in the Dragon.
So we have our gold lead switching over to Team Joe Momma here. They do have great wave clear between the Kale, the Ziggs, and the Tristana. And with Kale really putting a lot of pressure into the Jolly Boys set up top.
And it's interesting that you did bring up the gold lead because a lot of the times many new viewers or new players will think that the kill count is what determines who's in the lead, right? But kills are only a means of getting gold. And here, even if they are up by 1 kill, they are down in almost 1k gold. So that's going to be a gap.
And so as we saw on the top, Shorty kind of went in on a gank for
and the moment they
Kale.
saw the jungler up there, Joe Momma capitalized on that.
Oh my, what a great ult by
It's
Lauren.
huge.
Huge ult. So not only did they get the Dragon, but they got a kill along with it. It's like,
and that's huge. They're capitalizing again on their gold lead. Joe Momma is in their jungle taking away those neutral camps, denying Shyvana of more gold. But Shyvana is in the enemy jungle as well. So almost an even exchange when you talk about jungle camps.
yeah. And looks like Shorty was looking to pick off the Kale up top, but Kale was able to back just in time not to be killed there. And wow, what damage are we seeing
great
on that Ashe?
Wow.
Great play by Nelio and Trillion down bot. Again, they're putting a lot of pressure on that Ashe because she's just ultra squishy right now.
So Team Joe Momma is making a great push here. They're widening the gold gap. They're getting kills. They're putting map pressure. They did get Dragon. So we'll see how Charlie and the pentakill factory respond.
So it looks like Mundo here is trying to mirror Shyvana's pathing, but doesn't see that Nautilus is there with him. So he's going to give up that, or maybe not. Maybe make a play for this Scuttle Crab, because he does have his 2 bot laners.
Charlie and the pentakill factory has to engage here. This is going to be a good fight. Charlie gets to the back line. Does he secure it? Yes, he does. Joe's trying to make his run. Looks like bot is coming in to help. Watch his back follow here by Joe Momma. Zillion saving Joe here. Can they make a play? They take down Charlie.
Trillion
Fight still
with
going on, but not quite enough for Joe Momma. So that's a great response by Charlie and the Pentakill Factory.
Trillian, just before she hopped in, she was ulted by the Ashe, so there wasn't really a lot of opportunity for her to kite that out. They secure one of the kills, but was unable to capitalize and get more. So Charlie and the Pentakill well played at that fight there. And looks like Jolly Boy here is getting aggressive with our Kale, forcing a flash out.
It's not bad. Jolly Boy does have the minion, the farm advantage here. So in an exchange, he should win.
Yeah, what can I say? Jolly Boy likes to fight.
He does.
Looking for another one here.
Kale has no flash here, so he's definitely trying to take advantage of that.
A summoner has disconnected.
So it looks like we're having some connection issues for Team Captain. And we'll have a pause there with the game being quite close here. Team Joe Mama has a 200 gold lead with an Infernal Drake, but you'll see that kill lead over on Team Charlie in the Pentakill Factory with one turret apiece.
There we go. He is back.
All right.
So any thoughts so far? Right now, I'd say it's pretty even. I mean, we have the gold gap closed here, right? Both teams making plays. What are your thoughts, Keith?
Yeah, so it really looks like, again, what we mentioned earlier with Trillian and Nelio taking advantage of that damage coming from Tristana and Zillion, and then Charlie with his Ignite really making a point to roam and get those quick kills with his ability to ignore the front line and get to that back line and get those assassinations.
Right.
And I'm really curious to see how it's gonna look when we have Jolly Boy's set, the Nautilus and the Shyvana all come together in fights. That's gonna be great synergy there.
So right now, I'm not sure if it's only me, but my screen is frozen. Oh, and we're back live.
And
so Oya secured the kill. That's huge.
That is a big solo kill from Team Charlie in the Pentakill Factory. We'll see what Jolly Boy will do with that gold he just got there.
Honestly, Jolly Boy not only farming well against the Kale and also getting the kill, he's gonna get pretty big and scary. Once they do start grouping as a 5 unit, it's gonna be interesting to see how Joe Mama deals with that set.
Oh, and here we have Charlie jumping on to Big Buoy, and not quite successful. And here we have
the Mundo
able to take advantage of that.
And they stop Charlie here.
Right, and donating that kill over to Big Buoy. Again, Big Buoy's damage is going to be huge towards the end of the game. So, good idea there by Team Joe Mama.
I like how Joe Mama is making sure that Charlie does not get steamrolling, right? They do kill Charlie mid lane, putting a lot of pressure on this drag that's coming up. We do see the Nautilus and Shyvana coming down, but we'll see if they will contest here. They are ripping through this dragon. Let's see what happens.
It looks like Shorty's going to try and get that steal, but unable to do so. But a great ult from the Ashe right into the Tristana. And
does
looks
Zillion
like they're
get out?
Keep following. He has to ult.
Charlie in the Pentakill Factory not giving that drag for free, making them pay for that. That's a good response. I like that.
And with the shutdown, that brings Charlie in the Pentakill Factory's gold above 600 over Team Joe Mama. So really, they lost that dragon, but really made up for it by punishing them after the fact.
If I am Charlie in the Pentakill Factory, I'm going to make dragon a priority the next time it comes up. Joe Mama, it does have the 2 dragon lead here. So that's a global buff, right? So in the late game, that's going to be crucial.
Absolutely. they can't have that soul point right away here.
You know, Oya's pushing very high up. I do understand Joe did just secure Dragon, and so he wasn't in the top jungle for a gank here, but Oya's getting steamrolling.
He is looking to get this kill, and I'm sure he wants to drop that.
Oh, he's fighting under tower, though. Was that a good decision? Oh, you just can't. Not when Kayle still has ult and that range.
That range is deadly. That would have been a really great opportunity for him to drop the Rift Herald, but if he was a little bit more patient, I think he could have waited for that Kayle to back so that he can get that gold on the turret.
Exactly.
Now, fun fact, I learned this last night, but apparently the second tier tower is worth more gold now.
Oh.
Yeah. So, again, it would have been a good play, but great counterplay there by Kayle.
Yeah, and if I'm Kayle, I'm almost, sighing in relief that we didn't get Sett steamrolling after that.
Absolutely.
If Sett did get that kill and make that push, that's going to be a huge top pressure and also a big disparity between Sett and Kayle.
Yeah, the farm alone right there, Kayle is falling behind, and that, not getting that kill or even getting killed would have been a really, really big pit to kind of climb out of. So
definitely
huge kill there.
You see the junglers skirmishing here. Shyvana in a tough spot, but we have Jolly Boy. It's huge.
Looks like Jolly Boy wanted to get his revenge there.
But we have the Zillion coming in. We have Charlie following up as well. Let's see how this plays out.
That was a clutch ult by Zillion, but with Charlie following.
Oya still looking in the fight. But it looks like Joe Mama might be able to get out of here. We'll see. Charlie committing with Oya here. They're really deep. There is the Zig ult.
Charlie still wants to fight
Charlie
there.
Forgets me. That is pretty dangerous territory.
But it worked out. I thought Trillion would jump in at the end there, but then again, she did not see where the Sett was, which would have made it a little bit difficult if he was in position. So good patience by Trillion's Tristana there.
I'm thinking right now that the X factor of the game currently is Jolly Boy with that Sett. You see, when you get steamrolling like that, he can just be aggressive, right? Hard to respond.
And I think Nelio has been huge for Team Joe Mama. Can't wait to see how these two will set up their team to be in a position to win.
Okay. Dragon is coming up. If I am Charlie in the pentakill factory, this is huge. They do have the kill lead here, the 2k gold advantage, so I suspect that they will come into this team fight a lot stronger. But Joe Mama is all 5 down here, and it's interesting to see what Oya does to respond.
Looks like Waka Waka here is engaging on the Charlie.
There's a TP. This should be a team fight, 5-on-5, what we've been waiting to see. We have a lot going on here.
Tristana dies almost instantly.
This is huge.
And that is a 4-for-1 on the side of Charlie in the pentakill factory. Almost living up to their name.
If I'm Nelio here, I'm leaving. I wouldn't risk another death, especially since there are 4 there.
Absolutely.
Looks like Charlie's going for the kill. Yep. There you go. That's exactly
there
what
it
I
is.
mean. That's huge. So we see a large gold lead now, a large kill lead as well. And they also got the dragon there. So will this mean that Charlie and the pentakill factory, will they get steamrolling? I wonder how Joe Mama's going to respond. One thing to see here is also the lane swap. Now that the dragon's gone, the next jungle objective, right, for the entire team is the Baron. And Baron is on the top side, jungle. So I'd like to see the lane swap where bot goes top and top goes bot. And we see the Kayle making her way down bot, so looks like Momma will be in a position to either one go for Baron, excuse me, or contest it at the very least.
Looks like we have Jolly Boy on the top side looking to clear some of the wards, some of the vision around Baron. As Raph said, that's going to be the next objective here. So great job on setting themselves up for that huge buff that the Baron gives up.
Looks like they're pressuring mid here. They know they're stronger. They want to take this first tower. We mentioned earlier that Big Guiho with her Ziggs is a safe player, but
there with the Charlie ult. Great engage.
Here we go. They're steamrolling.
There's just way too much CC coming from the side of Charlie in the pentakill factory, and they are walking down these turrets like they're nothing.
For a split second, Momma wanted to have Ziggs split push, but again, it's quite difficult with the champion that Big Guiho is playing there. Charlie just steamrolling now.
Wow, deletes Tristana and Zillion. Big Booey gets that return kill, but still a 2-for-1 or 3-for-1 for the pentakill factory.
If I'm Momma here, it is.
Lots of kills.
Here, it looks pretty grim right now. They still do have a chance. Again, they do have the dragon advantage. So as long as they secure the next one, they really put some pressure. But this gold lead does need to close. They need to do something about that.
So if you're Team Momma, Ref, how do we get out of this?
One, you cannot give Baron. Reason being is because, as you saw, Charlie and the Pentakill Factory, they just pushed mid with no issues, right? Having Baron buff would mean that if they do win a team fight, they could be knocking at the steps of their Nexus. So one, Baron is definitely a priority. However, what is the dragon timer we have here? That's one thing also to secure. If Charlie and the Pentakill Factory do get the next drag, they even it out with the dragon count. So quite hard, but like we both know, you just keep farming, reduce the mistakes that you're making, and get some vision out there.
And the words of Kevin Garnett, anything is possible here.
I truly believe that. So for those watching, yes, you do see the 22-11 lead here, but I believe the game is far from over. Looks like they're
prioritizing dragon here. I wonder if the Pentakill Factory will give up that dragon to make a quick play for the Baron.
I was just about to say that here. If you're Charlie in the Pentakill Factory, that is a viable option. You take Baron and you can push either top or mid, putting huge pressure at the cost of one dragon.
Yeah, that third dragon going over to the Pentakill Factory was huge. So now they don't really have to worry about the Dragon Soul. So for those that are new to the game, Dragon Soul is a huge buff for when a single team gets 4 of the dragons. And you might hear the term Drake instead. Those are the same thing.
So Jolly Boy does have TP for this fight. We'll see if they do commit to this. Jolly Boy is pushing top hard. I'm not sure if they're going to answer. So Kayle uses TP, right? If I'm Charlie in the Pentakill Factory, we go for drag, have Jolly Boy TP in.
So they don't have that teleport advantage anymore. Oh, wow.
Here's the TP. Here comes Jolly Boy. This is huge.
Big pull.
And they get 3 kills here on top of the
kills,
dragon.
And they're going straight for Baron.
Yep. This is going to be almost a Baron handed to them. We have enough DPS from the Ashe here.
And Ref, like you said, just a couple minutes ago, they went and killed 2 towers mid lane almost easily with no resistance. And now they're about to have this Baron buff. But what the Baron buff allows you to do is it empowers the minions that your champions are around. So it makes sieging and pushing the lanes a lot easier. So the Baron buff only goes to champs that are alive on the team that captures it. So a 5-man Baron is gonna be huge for Team Pentakill here.
And if I'm Charlie and the Pentakill Factory, we're splitting up, right? I'd go 1-3-1, 3-1-1, and when I say these, it means how many champions or players are going to each of the lanes. When I say 2-1-2, it's 2 top, 1 mid, 2 bottom, and because they do have the Baron buff, they can pressure all lanes, but we'll see what decision they make here.
And I want to give a quick shout out to one of our newer players here. Neozone is 3-1-12 and has been huge with the Nautilus. Really being able to peel for Ashe. Ashe early in the game gave up a few kills, but really hasn't died all that much since.
That is very true. So it looks like they're pushing mid here. There is pressure on all lanes, so it's quite hard to respond by Team Joe Mama.
They're firing all cylinders here, and again, you predicted that 1-3-1 push, and that's exactly what's happening here. We have Shorty in the bot lane taking that second tier turret almost freely.
And I'm a fan of what they're doing here. They're extending the Baron buff to the extremes of the map, right? So if you're Team Joe Mama, you have to either choose, do we protect top, bot, or if you split, like in this case, it puts you in a very bad position.
Exactly, and they noticed how Shorty was able to siege that bot lane turret alone, and they know that the other team had to respond to it. So what did the 3 in the mid lane do? Go up top and get that second, that inner turret there as well. So really great play here by the Pentakill Factory, pushing their lead to almost 10,000 gold, which is bonkers.
And we are past the 30-minute mark where things typically do speed up. This is where, again, we've reached the late game where the items come into play. This gold advantage is starting to really show. Oh!
This is going to be a big kill.
Huge. And if I'm Team Joe Mama, I'm counter pushing a given lane, set up for the next objective here.
This might be the window that Team Joe Mama's looking for.
And if I'm Team Joe Mama, I want a fight here, right? You have Charlie gone. It's going to be a 4v5. I'll take those odds.
That's their biggest damage dealer.
So as we see both teams set up for the late game, I want to take this time to give a shout out to those who tuned in despite not knowing much about League. We really appreciate your support. Continue to tune in with us. We'll try to break down the game, and I hope you guys learn and maybe join us for a couple of games here and there.
And I'm surprised to see that Team Joe Mama wasn't really all too concerned about warding the dragon. It's going to be a win condition for them to be able to secure that mountain soul and take it away from the Pentakill Factory here.
Yeah, if I'm the support from Joe Mama, that would have been a priority, right, to get vision there. But it looks like because they waited so long, they were afraid, right? Without vision, it's kind of hard to tell if Charlie and the Pentakill Factory is hiding somewhere.
And having so much damage coming from the Zillion, he has a bulk of their kills. It really makes you play that much more conservatively, because a lot of the damage is coming from you. So you definitely don't want to get picked off. So there's that internal struggle there.
I will say it's not looking quite too good for Team Joe Mama. We have Zig still bot. At this point, I would be grouping just because Baron is coming up. It's going to be hard for Ziggs to come back up, right? To help in a team fight if that does happen. She does have the range on her ult. However, Ziggs is definitely more effective when he's there throwing his tools. Will they siege this mid tower?
This is going to be a big fight here. This is either going to end the game. Oh, looks like Jolly Boy's going to be separating and they're going to go away from the fight. Good decision.
If I'm Jolly
there.
Boy... Oh, go ahead. Finish that.
That top lane is pushing in, so they want to make sure they have that priority in all the lanes so they can set up for a fight or even try to sneak in Baron.
If I am Jolly Boy, I'm going bot just because I have that TP. Right, so you can continue to pressure bot and secure Baron. Once you secure Baron, I believe it is going to be game. Team Joe Mama does need to commit to a fight here and prevent Charlie and the Pentakill Factory from getting that Baron buff.
Team Joe Mama's in a hard position to start any fights here because not a lot of blue wards on the map there. So they're walking into these fights a little bit blindly.
Here we go. Let's see how this Nautilus engages.
Oh, Jolly Boy with
back. There's the Ashe ult.
Huge Ashe ult.
That engage is too hard.
What a beautiful play by Team Charlie in the Pentakill Factory. Jolly Boy coming from behind in the Ashe ult. Oh, will we get the counter kill?
Baron. I really expect a back to base. They're going to reset and make one last push. It looks like they're going straight for it.
Kill
Team
timers.
Joe Mama does have about 20 seconds. All right. Kill timers.
Yep. They've got 2 folks coming up in 12 seconds. And that is their 2 damage dealers, but it leaves them with 3 squishy champions. So let's see how that's going to play out in just a second. Charlie, no fear, quarter health, but still pushing.
Yep. The minion pressure bot does give way to Jolly Boy just pushing top. After they take this inhib, I think they're going to go ahead and reset. Team Joe Mama's looking for a fight here. They need to stop them here. Take away their Baron buff. But it looks like Charlie and the Pentakill Factory gets out.
So it looks like they really want to play it safe here. And back and buy.
Yeah, with this 10k gold lead, right, the Dragon advantage and also the Baron buff, it looks like Charlie and the Pentakill Factory is going to look to close the game. They've group 5 mid, just making one strong push. All inhibitors down, meaning they have super minions rolling down the lanes.
And those are Baron empowered super minions. So you see those purple coats on these minions. They are stronger than usual. And here's that engage by Shorty into the tankiest member. Another excellent Ashe ult.
Her engage is just so good.
Absolutely demolishing Team Joe Mama, keeping all 5 members alive.
Like we mentioned earlier, we said, you know, the team with the best engage, because there are good frontline champions, would win the game, and we saw that with the Nautilus, with the Shyvana there. Tough game. We'll see what Joe Mama's adjustments are coming into game 2.
Tough game indeed. It was just too big of a gold gap between the two for Team Joe Mama to take it into late game and be able to hang on there. But I'm excited to see what those adjustments are going to be, Raph.
If I am Team Joe Mama, I am banning that Nautilus pick. That's
Yeah.
such a strong engage, right? For a team that one has a lot of damage in the Ashe, in the Diana. They did a very good job of protecting that Ashe, and in return, Ashe didn't hesitate using her ult, right, to engage as well. It was a great team win. We did see some X Factor plays from both Charlie, Oyo, but I think one of the biggest sleepers in that game was that Nautilus pick.
That Nautilus pick and the Ashe arrows from Joey were on point.
I will say, oh, go ahead.
that combination is just insane with the point and click ult from Nautilus and then that stun from Ashe. It was art.
I'd say junglers from both teams were quite even. Joe Mama did have that dragon advantage at the beginning, but probably in the pentakill factory, they made their adjustments, and they locked in to catch up and close that gap.
Yep. And so looks like we're gonna be setting up for our second game here.
That was a very exciting game there. Kudos to our casters who casted it perfectly, and also engaging us newbies on understanding how the game mechanic works. So great job, casters. So I guess we'll hop on to the next game.
Yeah,
go
I do
through
have a
their
question
opponents.
though. We are newbies, and there was one point in there you guys did say, there's still a chance they can still come back. It was, I believe, the team scores was showing 11 to 22 or the levels, right? Why would you say that at 11 and 22 they still had a chance? Maybe you can explain that to the newbies.
Do you want to give it a stab first?
Yeah, sure. And so, like I mentioned in the beginning of the game, there's a lot of damage and range coming from Team Joe Mama. So if they at one point in that 11 and 22, they actually picked off the Charlie's Diana. So if they would have just kept fighting there and put themselves in positions to have vision on the dragon and the Baron there, they could have clawed back into it with securing those major objectives, because that objective, especially the Baron, allows you to really push and get a lot of gold. So they could have cut that gold lead a little bit, little by little, and again extend the game a little bit more, where they'll have the advantage between Ziggs, who has a lot of siege potential, Tristana, and Kale.
So, one of you guys said something about Kevin Garnett and NBA. And so, using an analogy there, would you say it's something similar where you're racking up a lot of rebounds, you're really beating them up down low, and then you say, you know what, the score is not out of hand, you can come back with free throws and...
Absolutely. I tell everyone that this game is so similar to basketball. There's positions, there's nuances to each position. There's a prototype to each of the positions, like Raph said earlier. So absolutely, there's a lot of parallels between the two.
So other than banning Nautilus, what else would you recommend for Joe Mama to do in this next game coming up?
For me, I'm going to look for a team composition, right? Because again, what we saw with Charlie and the Pentakill Factories, they're very aggressive. So if I'm Team Joe Mama, I'm looking for champions that can best support just the overall team comp, meaning champions that can protect the backline more, right? We did see the Dr. Mundo, the tank, serve as a front line with Waka Waka. Unfortunately, Mundo doesn't have a very strong peel potential, right? Something that can really take away the damage from the carries and the backline. So I'm looking for a team composition that protects, in their case, the Tristana, the Ziggs. Also, if I'm Team Joe Mama, I'd advise, Ziggs he does have that ult, that big bomb that they can throw almost across the map, but to be more present, to follow Charlie wherever he does go, because what we saw early was Charlie roaming bot, getting that huge double kill, I believe, and all Ziggs can do was throw that bomb, right? Which was also, to help, but Ziggs definitely needs to follow so that they can cast all their other abilities to help combat against Charlie's mobility.
And I think banning Set is going to be another way to go about this next match, and even possibly stealing the Nautilus. Now, there's, you're able to ban somebody or pick that person first so that the other team can't. And I think that's what a lot of Team Joe Mama will need, because they had that one tank. But they'll really need, because Mundo has the ability to engage and really chase down the squishies and carries on the other team, but not a kit really designed to peel for the carries on their team. And that's exactly what Nautilus has. Nautilus's auto attacks roots the other team for I believe for 1 entire second. So I think if they're able to steal that pick away from the pentakill factory, I think that'll go a long way for them.
And for those who don't know, when Keith mentioned stealing the pick, right? In that champion select screen, it lets you know which team gets the first pick. So you kind of plan your bans around that. So what Keith is saying is, hey, let's not ban Nautilus if we have first pick, right? But what the first player to pick that champion just grab Nautilus so that it denies the other team from selecting him. Nautilus is a very strong champion. I'm a fan of him in any team composition. So Keith, you are right. Instead of banning, I think I would go with that steal approach, assuming that my support does know how to play Nautilus.
Looks like we're hopping onto our lobby. Looking forward to the adjustments they make in this next game. So, let's see who else we're missing. I think we're ready to go.
Oh, I have to leave here for a second.
All right, so for those tuning in, give yourselves that bathroom, that water break. Grab yourself some popcorn. We're getting ready for game 2. We do have a chat on the right-hand side of the stream. Drop down your favorite moment. Drop down who you think your X Factor was, what you guys would like to see with any of the questions that were posed here. And yeah, any questions for us as well, we'd gladly answer that.
And
Yeah,
you'll get
drop
a bunch of
questions and comments.
Yeah, you actually get a bunch of questions from us too here, right? One quick one is, in League of Legends, there are so many characters, right? How do you even know the different combinations? How many are there? Can you explain us how you manage knowing the characters, all the spells, all the abilities?
So that's a loaded question there. And so there's over 100 different champions, and for those that are just tuning in or just starting to get interested into League, I would play games and just try out random champions. You'll get a better feel for because it's just as important to know that one champion that works for you and to know all the other champions and what they do, because you're going to have to go against them at some point. So find your champion and really practice that champion. But as far as putting together a team, there are metas where Riot Games constantly puts out patches that make certain champions stronger and certain champions weaker. So to understand which ones are going to be the best, I always recommend watching pro players. We are not pro players, we are amateur players, but when you watch pro players, you'll get a good idea of who's strong and the mechanics of how to take advantage of who those strong champions are.
And for the new players, I know 100 champions seems pretty overwhelming. But as you play games like this, right, you're learning your champion, right? But there are 9 other champions on Summoner's Rift, and so when you're playing, you start to pick up what champions do. You don't necessarily need to play them, though. Like what Keith mentioned, we do recommend that you do try out these champions just so that you know the little nuances, and that's where you get to the higher level play. But for new players, it is quite a learning curve, but it's fun, trying new things. It makes the game very interesting, and that's why, League's been here for such a long time, yet we play it constantly because there are just so many different combinations, so many different ways. No game is the same, and that's what we see here.
Yeah, I do have more questions, but before I ask that, let's actually kick off the game, so I know, because we have a 3-minute delay and we can talk as much as we want. And let's just kick it off first. We just need Raph here in the lobby, and I think we're ready to go.
Yep.
Oh, did I not receive that? My apologies. Can you send me the invite? I didn't get it.
Yeah, I think you're on away there, so we'll have to. For some reason I can't invite.
All right, so next time we'll have a designated admin to maybe run these invites. But I noticed there's only 4 spectators per custom game. Can we extend that? Because I think the 4 already takes up us 4 here. Is that possible?
Might have to look into it, but right now I think I didn't see any settings for
multiple. Yeah.
Yep,
so as soon as Wrath hops on, we can start the game. But I do want to ask, so I noticed that you guys talk about Nautilus a lot, and I believe one of the characters, Diana, was a lot of people in the chat is saying this character is broken. So from the other team, what would you say is how would you counter that specific character? Is there characters that you would pick to specifically counter those? And what would you pick, in terms of Diane and Nautilus? How would you handle that?
Diana's tough. That's a tough matchup. I don't play mid too often. I think Keith, you might know more on that. But with the Nautilus, even in ranked play, in pro play, that's going to be a champ that's well coveted. So you're looking to pick that if that's not banned, or you're going to ban it. So if, for example, Joe Mama does not have the first pick here, I would say that's an automatic ban. Otherwise, I would pick a champion that does well with what we call peeling. Again, peeling, think of like a banana. We have an enemy champion on your damage heavy champion, and peeling literally taking them away. And so I would pick maybe, just as an example, an Alistar, a Leona, someone that can really stop Nautilus from wreaking havoc on your damage heavy champions.
And I'm not quite sure if anyone on Team Joe Mama quite plays Diana, so that might have to be a ban there.
Yeah, the difficulty in banning Diana is Charlie's wide array of mid champions that he can play, right? You ban out Diana, he can easily play his Ahri, his LeBlanc, which are, I would say, evenly as scary. But we did see, like we mentioned earlier, Lauren does play the mid lane very safe, so it wasn't her fault that he got steamrolling. However, I would advise her to follow Charlie. If, for example, Charlie goes bot, she can take a 50-50 chance, go either top or bot. If Charlie's bot, guess what? If I'm Lauren, I'm going to go and commit to the gank up top, get top, going. You definitely need to match what your laner is doing there.
And you see
talk to us about this, these bans right now here.
Yeah, so you'll see 2 bans coming from the side of Team Joe Mama that are specifically targeting Charlie as the mid laner. So LeBlanc and Ahri, 2 of his best champions, and I'm willing to bet that they're going to ban Diana right now. And like we mentioned earlier, the ban phase, there's 3 bans for each team in the first ban phase, then 3 picks, and then 2 more bans and 2 more picks after that. So I want to see if they're going to try to close out Charlie's picks here with all 3 of their bans.
Oh, that's an interesting ban, the Yorick. That's
That
also
is an interesting ban.
that's a champion that Charlie does play. However, you see that top, not necessarily mid. So I don't know if they're anticipating a role change here.
Yeah. And so we do have a substitution coming from the side of the Pentakill factory with Oyolicious jumping in for Nelio. So Oyolicious is a new player, so welcoming him into his first real game. Well, honestly, this is probably a lot of the players' first broadcasted game, but most especially Oyolicious here. He's just starting the game in the last couple of weeks. So excited to see this Morgana coming from it.
And we welcome any of our viewers to come join us. If not this season, hop on League, add us on League, and we'll play with you, teach you the ropes, get ready for that winner split like we mentioned.
Yep, add me at Keylime. Shameless plug there.
I smell fear.
So I noticed they picked Diana as well again. So if you're the other team and you saw Diana, right now, who would you pick at this point?
I actually think that they left Diana open because they want him to select Diana. In this case, I am... Oh, I'm sorry. Joe Mama picked Diana.
They did take Diana.
So they did ban Charlie's top 2 mid champions, and then they stole it, right? Like what we mentioned earlier, that steal dynamic. Nautilus is open, so that's up for grabs.
And so they have Swain, which can be considered a flex pick because Swain can go in a couple of different lanes. So we'll see if that Swain is actually going to be their support. And if it is, I'm willing to bet that. Oh, looks like. I wonder if Team Joe Mama here is gonna go with the Nautilus. We have the Lux and Morgana already, two champions that can be either mid laners or support. But it looks like they're gonna opt against using the Nautilus. Very interesting pick because it really felt like the Nautilus was huge in that last game.
And looking at Charlie and the Pentakill Factory here, they have a lot of champions with great CC and team fight potential. We have Lux Morgana with great CCA stuns all around. We have the Amumu ult, so that level 6 gank is going to be huge. However, Amumu is a very, I would say, weak early jungler. So if I'm Waka Waka here, I am picking a Lee Sin, someone very aggressive, an Olaf that can really disrupt the Amumu and take siege of the jungle. When you do that, it opens up for Dragon, later on Baron. There we go, that Volibear pick. If I'm Joe, I'm invading. I am denying Amumu farm here.
That is a huge pick there. Volibear getting through. Volibear is a big tanky champion that deals a lot of damage, gets a lot of shields, and his ult actually is this big old jump where he can turn off the enemy turrets. So really huge when diving.
Yeah, the only thing though is I think Joe Mama's going to have the same problem they had last game, which is that peeling aspect, right? We have a lot of stuns, a lot of Amumu's Q and that ult into these carries. I believe Charlie and the Pentakill Factory is going to get to the back line easily. How are they going to respond to that? That's what we're going to have to find out. But then again, we do have also a lot of damage on Joe Mama's side, so we'll really see who out damages who.
So another newbie question. When you're starting off the game, you have an option to purchase items. Right? You have a finite amount of gold readily available. What is the strategy in terms of purchasing items? Do you purchase something that's low level right away, or do you bank it up first?
Absolutely not bank it up. You want to build the components, and really you want to spend as much money as you can when you back. There are certain instances where if you're 50, 100 gold away, you'll want to get into lane really quickly, gain that gold, and then buy that complete item. But I'd say always try to spend as much money as you can without having, obviously without getting random items that won't fit your build.
And in the beginning of the game, there isn't much leeway as to the items you select. There is, you can go one way or the other. But for example, the jungler, they typically have two options to start off with their jungle item that helps them take out jungle camps, right? As the ADC, which is attack damage carry, that damage heavy champion, they typically start off with like a sword, right? Something attack damage that boosts their attack damage. But it's really later in the game where items start to matter. For example, if you're up against a very beefy or tanky composition, you want items that we call shred armor, right? Because these beefy tanky champions, they've built armor, and you want to make sure you nullify that. Or if, for example, there is a champion or a player that heals a lot, there are items that do healing reduction. And so a lot of the times items become more crucial, or the decisions for items become more crucial later in the game. But at the beginning, like you mentioned, you do have a finite amount. You want to spend it just because when you are in that laning phase, when you're farming, you don't want to be out damaged, out sustained by your opponent.
And I misspoke earlier. Oyolicious is actually replacing Jolly Boy. So for those that don't know, Oyolicious is Huey Erpe coming in for his big brother
Take a look at the
Oyo Erpe.
That's what team was that?
That is Team Charlie in the Pentakill Factory.
Got it. So graphic there real quick.
Yeah. Here we'll have that substitution. Huey Erpe.
You think this is more of a tactical substitution, or is just, hey, your turn, go play?
If I could say something, I think it is tactical because what Charlie and the Pentakill Factory is expecting is those mid bans. We see the LeBlanc and Ari ban when really Charlie's going top. So those bans, I don't want to say it's a waste, but Charlie expected that. It's almost like a chess match.
Yeah.
There's a step ahead.
And you'll notice here that Charlie is probably going to go top instead of mid. Really speaks to how good he is as a player, really able to kind of traverse the map and really place him anywhere and he'll make an impact. So I'm curious to see whether or not the Lux or the Morgana is going to end up as our mid laner.
Right, well, looks like we're ready to go. We'll hand it off back to you guys. Take it away, casters.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you both.
All right, so if we have any new viewers, welcome. We are starting game 2, with game 1 going to Charlie and the Pentakill Factory. What we're looking for is a response from Team Joe Mama, and here we go. We are underway. So who's your pick for this one, Keith? Do you think Joe Mama's gonna respond? This is my pick. Joe Mama's gonna respond here.
I think so. This Volibear and Swain combination, back with Big Buoy's Ziggs, it's a scary combination. Big Buoy has proven that she'll be able to stay in the back line at the same time deal some damage.
Yeah.
Trillion on the Misfortune. And we even have 2 noobs on the Diana, really taking that pick away from Charlie. This is gonna be a fun game.
Yeah, and if I'm on Amumu's team here, Vision's gonna be very, very crucial. I mentioned, I think Joe is going to play aggressive as a jungler. He's gonna invade a lot, deny Amumu of farm, because on a 1v1, Volibear wins that 9 out of 10 times. And so Vision's gonna be crucial because the moment Charlie and the Pentakill Factory sees Joe go into the jungle, they need to collapse and stop him from doing that.
Looks like we're going to have Morgana as the support here, with the Lux going mid lane.
And that's an interesting setup. We do have a lot of AP, which is ability power, for Charlie and the Pentakill Factory. So that should alter the item selections from Joe Mama's side.
And again, no invades coming from either team. And you'll notice Draven on M-Duck here, Mother Duck, and that is actually one of his best champions. So I expect to see a lot of impact coming from that bot lane on Team Pentakill Factory. And we are off into a fight early.
What's interesting here is Big Buoy Ho Lauren followed that lane swap where Charlie went top. Right, so we still have the same player matchup, just in a different lane. In this case, Charlie did pick teleport instead of ignite, which I expected.
So single TPs on both teams. Like you mentioned, looks like Big Buoy's following Charlie up there to the top lane. She wants her revenge, it looks like. We'll see if she gets it.
Honestly, I think it works out to Joe Mama's favor that Charlie is top. Reason being is because the Diana mid, right, was such a mobile well, at least for Charlie. He gank bot a couple times. Now that he's top, it limits him now, right?
Yeah.
With his global presence. He does have TP, so he does have that. But, walking down from mid lane to bot lane is definitely a lot easier than TPing. When I say easier, meaning you could do it more frequently.
Absolutely. He's got essentially one lane to gank now.
Ooh, early kill here.
Big stun coming, big pull coming from Anelio's Swain over there, and we'll see, just like we mentioned earlier, Joe Waka Waka is gonna bring the heat with that.
On Diana, I have to go top. Diana needs the help here. That's a late rotate. We see Joe go down.
Ooh, almost there, and looks like she might be committing.
Charlie's looking to fight. We do have Ziggs following up, but Lux did miss her Q here. I'm disengaging if I'm Charlie. But this man is aggressive. Oh, force the flash. That's huge.
Force the flash.
Bot lane is dominating for Joe Mama's side here. We have the goal advantage going to Team Joe Mama.
And Draven just gets away with 20 health.
Crazy.
So just one more auto would have brought that ADC down. We have an 800 gold advantage coming on the side of Team Joe Mama.
Like I mentioned earlier, Joe is doing exactly what I thought he would do, which is, get aggressive and invade. But it's hard invading towards Charlie's side because Charlie collapses so quickly, and we see Charlie making Joe pay. Dragon's coming up. We'll see if anyone makes an early move towards that. If
We saw
I
in
am
the
Joe
last
Mama-
game,
Uh-huh.
it was almost 10-11 minutes till the first dragon was taken. So we'll see if this is going to be similar fashion here.
If I'm Joe Mama, I'm going for Dragon. Reason being is because Moo is weak. He cannot solo Dragon alone. So it needs the team to commit to that. So I would take the early Dragon if I'm Joe.
And it's an Ocean Drake, so something that'll really benefit Joe throughout the game. To have that sustain and ability to stay on the map.
Here we go. There's a fight. Looked like it was about to be a fight. With these two junglers, I think the mid players are definitely going to play a crucial role in who's going to be able to follow up first. I think the mid laner that gets the first step on any jungle skirmishes or any jungle objectives is going to be the team that wins.
This looks like we have Joe sneaking the dragon over there.
And with a bot lane this aggressive that's winning pretty definitively, Joe should have this dragon secured. A Mumu on the top side jungle. This is an easy dragon.
Easy and quick dragon for the side of Team Joe Mama. As they take off another plating on this turret here.
Taking a look at the farm across the board. Mid lane's about even.
So it looks like there's a big advantage here on the bot side, and they are making use of that gold advantage here. Really making them pay.
Not only do they have the farm advantage, they have the kill advantage here. Joe Mama might have to rely on their bot lane for this win. Typically, the rule of thumb as a jungler is to gank the winning lane, right, just so that they continue snowballing. But because Dragon has been taken, it looks like Joe's trying to make his presence known top side. Rift Herald is coming up shortly, so he might be setting up for that. Again, just because Amumu's such a weak jungler early on, and is at the mercy of his own team.
So I don't think we're going to see a lot of action coming from Amumu until he gets to level 6. But that ult is huge for team fights. So he already got an early kill. So that's a lot already coming from Amumu jungle.
So for new players, ult means the ultimate, right? It's a skill that you only get starting at level 6. Amumu's ult is pretty strong because he has this huge ring around him that he uses, and everyone in that ring, one, takes ability damage, and they're also stunned. And so if Amumu's in the middle of a team fight, he can stun the entire enemy team while his team goes on and lays out the damage. The only catch, not quite strong solo. But in a team fight, amazing. Joe's hovering around mid lane here. It looks like it's warded and Lux is going back. As we expect, bot is so aggressive here.
And bot lane, Team Joe Mama is ripping into the pentakill factory so fast that Amumu didn't even have the time to respond and counter gank there, or gank I should say.
And because bot
Another
is
stun
pushing
here.
so far, we do see Joe on the map pressuring Amumu here. This is gonna be something.
Looking for a fight.
Both have ults. Let's see what happens. As you can see, again, that 1v1 between Volibear and Amumu is such a huge gap.
Oh, and here's that a TP. This is a bad position for the pentakill factory with Waka Waka's ult still up. Looks like I'm surprised they're not going for that dive. I think they're playing it safe here and want to just get that plating if they can.
I'm assuming it's because they don't have vision. Lux did leave mid lane, so I believe Joe responded to that.
That's
It looks like Charlie's going in here. Again, what's going to happen? That Amumu ult stunned both.
Great Amumu ult and great find.
Oh, this is a team fight right here.
Oh, wow.
Joe Mama just has such a huge lead.
That is an awesome response by Joe Mama. Joe was able to come back in time to really make an impact in that fight.
Yep, we have both the jungler and bot lane steamrolling now. Mumu and Irelia did have a strong engage, but wasn't good enough. That was a good follow by Joe Mama's team. They did leave Ziggs unanswered top, pushing that tower. It's a lot of map pressure here. We do see a 5k advantage, almost a 5k advantage. Dragon coming back up, which I do think Volibear will have an advantage over Amumu. Amumu's ult cooldown is quite long, so I don't think they're looking for a team fight here. Amumu is still topside. If I'm Amumu here, we take Rift Herald. You expect the dragon to be taken, you go to get Rift Herald.
So again, a lot of damage coming again from our support here. Nelio with the Swain having 100% kill participation. He's having a big impact on this game, much like the previous game.
Like I mentioned earlier, it looks like Charlie made the shot call to go ahead and get Rift. They're going to give up Dragon here. So they're not giving up Drag without price. I'd be interested to see, though, where they drop that Rift Herald. And so for new players, Rift Herald is this beast, right, that you capture and you could drop in a given lane. It headbutts a tower and does significant amount of damage. Great pushing potential.
A really good response there from Team Pentakill Factory, because the Rift can give more immediate gold, especially if it hits the plating on a tower. But because they saw Amumu topside with the Irelia taking that Rift Herald, they were able to jump into the ADC with no problem at all.
Joe doing exactly as we expected. Keep the winning lane rolling here. He ganks bot yet again. Bot doesn't look like they're in good shape here. I know it's Yui's first time, but these guys are unrelenting. There's that Amumu ult. Do we see the kill here? That's huge.
Although that is Big Booey's first death, she is falling a bit behind on farm. Charlie's really starting to take off here yet again. Wonder how Team Joe Mama is going to be responding to this as we go deeper into this game.
Earlier between our... Oh, I'll let this fight go through first.
They are looking to fight here.
Does Charlie get out? He gets a stun off.
Looks like Charlie will be able to get out here with a sliver of health at 40 HP.
He was chasing, but backs off. So like what we talked about between Game 1 and Game 2, I don't think this game is defined just yet. It's still open to whichever team. Reason being is because Charlie is playing an Aurelia, and as we know, Aurelia that gets fed, that gets the kills, can become quite a champion to stop, especially even in a 3v1 situation.
And you see that lane swap with Misfortune really being able to take that tower really quickly. And because that Swain had so much damage potential, Charlie really can't do anything there. Oh!
And Diana goes down. No. Does Amumu have ult? No, he does not.
Oh, I am surprised that the Amumu didn't. I'm just a greedy player. I probably would have gone in there, but better choice here.
Yeah, unfortunately, Amumu's abilities have such a high cooldown, but
what a great ult coming from Big Booey there. Really able to assist and quickly killing that Lux in the mid lane. Team Joe Mama's got some great synergy right now. They're firing on all cylinders.
They're steamrolling.
Yeah, very different team from what we saw in the last game.
I'm glad they did respond exactly as they did.
They do have that dragon advantage yet again.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Charlie's team, their bot lane is fighting to get some farm down bot. I know Huey, it's his first time. However, at this stage in the game, I would be roaming, assisting all the other lanes, just because Draven should be safe at that, area of the lane.
And one thing here is that Huey has yet to complete his quest gold progress on the Spell Thief's Edge.
You want to elaborate on that? What that means for those who don't play support?
Yeah. So each support has a starting support item, and each of those items have a unique ability to earn gold. And once they've earned 500 gold with that unique ability, they gain 4 wards on that item. And like we said earlier, Vision wins games, and they're really because Huey hasn't completed that quest, he's not able to place wards around the jungle to put his team in a position to find fights, find picks.
That also makes it very hard for Amumu to clear out jungle camps, right? Work his way through the jungle if there's no vision. Because, again, we've seen Joe play aggressive. Amumu's definitely having a hard time. I am surprised, though. He is still within the same level as Volibear. They're both level 9. Typically, we'll see a large jungle gap here, but Amumu's still holding on.
I think Robert's going to try and get that steal. Was unable to do so.
Yeah, in this case, there was no fight, which I do agree with. Typically, a big mistake is a team trying to make another team pay for taking Dragon. However, Joe Mama's just in such a huge lead that you don't want to give them any more of a lead, right? They take Drag, yes, but cut your losses, just reset. Joe Mama's steamrolling here, taking mid tower. The Pentakill factory has to do something. They haven't gotten any outer towers yet from Joe Mama's side. Joe Mama does have all the dragons. Such a large gold lead.
So with a 6,000 point difference here, Raph, what's Pentakill Factory's win condition? How can they get back into this?
Charlie split pushing. I know it's tempting to help, but at this point, as a top champion, there is no one champion on Joe Mama's team that can match Charlie's Aurelia. So if I am Team Joe Mama, the Pentakill Factory, I'll try to draw the other team either mid or bot and let Charlie split push as much as possible. It's hard in an ideal world, that should be the case, but we'll see how they play it out.
Yep, I agree with you there. It looks like Charlie's well above in farm than anybody on Team Joe Mama's and has the kills to back it up. So definitely agree there. He can push a lane, attract some attention so his team can go out and farm a little bit and try to catch up in their golden items.
Okay, if you look at the map here, Joe Mama has so many wards out, right? And the Pentakill Factory don't. One thing to also note, I think I see 3 pink wards. I am a huge advocate for pink wards. So any league players that we have out here, one thing that I always make sure to do whenever I go back to the shop is buy a pink ward, even if I have one out, just so that I can put one down when mine is taken out. It's literally free, not free vision, 75 gold, but it's vision that stays permanent, you know, assuming that the other team doesn't take it out. It literally can be a matter of life and death for a champion. And so a 75 gold cost, I'll easily take. Alright, so it's pretty quiet right now. Again, if you look at the
and so
map,
you'll see
a lot of red wards.
Yeah, and on the top side there, the ADC and Draven and Morgana are a little hesitant to pass that river line because of their lack of vision. So for those newer players, you can think of this imaginary line that you don't want to cross as long as you don't have vision. And they are well across that line now over in the top lane, which is why you will see Team Joe Mama capitalizing in the mid lane here. And now that they've seen that, it's a little bit too late, but they're making their way back to support their team back in the base. A bit of a questionable jump there from Shorty, and they make him pay.
This is huge. I think at this point, we take it to game 3, right? It's a 1-1 record here. Pretty close. I mean, they made the series pretty close. I do expect Jolly Boy to make a comeback, and I'm curious to see if they bring Charlie back mid.
That Jolly Boy was extremely effective top lane, not only in kill pressure, damage pressure, but just really being able to start fights in those team fights. So I'm sure he's going to be coming back to make a big impact.
And as expected, you know, we talked about the adjustments that Joe Mama had to do to win game 2, and we saw exactly, you know, Team Joe Mama do those things. They did it well, they executed perfectly, and as you can see, they steamrolled. Now, is it because we have Yui as a new player doing this? Did they really make an adjustment to win against Team Pentakill? I guess we'll find out game 3, right?
And we'll see if Huey will remain on the roster for that 3rd game, but good to see our newer players are getting some time in as well.
Yep, like I mentioned, the primary goal of this season, this league, is 1, of course, to raise money for a good cause, and 2, just for the sport of the game, right? To enjoy it, camaraderie, hang out with your friends during the game.
It looks like red team is able to secure that dragon there and really just lay into Team Pentakill Factory. There is no stopping Joe Waka Waka.
And we talked about games where you can come back. Unfortunately, this is not a game where you can.
Yep. That is a 10K lead at 23 minutes.
That's huge.
And Nilio is just going to walk through that turret.
So with the end of game 2, we end the 8 o'clock hour into 9. I know we have the NBA game 1, right?
Tonight's game 1, and it looks like Giannis is going to be playing tonight.
Yeah, but fortunately, you can watch the game on TV while having this stream up on your computer. You can watch both.
And that's just game 1. Game
It is
three is Game 3 is a lot more exciting here.
Just do yourself a favor. Follow House of Highlights, Bleacher Report, all of that on Instagram, and you won't miss too much.
Yeah, soon enough we'll be on there with our highlights here in the League and Cop series.
Maybe you do, but look, I'm not as well versed in basketball as you are, Keith. So,
Well, that was one dominating performance there. What do you think is the biggest adjustment that they made in the second game?
I think they won in champ selection, right? We talked about how Amumu is a weak jungler early on, and Joe would take advantage of that, and which he did. Unfortunately,
Very good call
Huey.
there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Yui is a new player, and bot lane took advantage of that. They did a good job of protecting their damage carry champions. But I'm excited to see how Game 3 plays out. This is where everything comes down to the line, right? We see Joe Mama make the adjustments. Can Team Pentakill make those adjustments as well?
What are you looking for the adjustments that we're gonna have to shorten their names? Pentakill. What do you think their adjustment needs to
Pentakill
be
Factory.
in this one?
Keith, you want to go ahead and take that a stab at that?
Yeah, so I'd be curious to, I'd want to bring back Jolly Boy, not necessarily to replace Oyolicious, but his presence in the match was definitely felt to be able to get those solo kills at the top and needing to be able to have somebody needing to come up there and help Will out from the first game there. He was able to have decent fights in 2v1 situations which allow the rest of his team to move more freely and engage into their fights and earn that gold. So expect to have Jolly Boy make a big impact in this game.
If I'm also Team Pentakill, I am bringing Charlie back to the mid lane. As you can see, he was stuck top. He did go bot a couple times just because he had TP up, but not as much as he did when he had the Diana mid. If I'm Joe Mama, I'm putting my chips into my bands of banning Charlie's mid champions just because if Jolly Boy does make his comeback, I do expect him to go top as well.
Great. All right, so while we set up the game, we'll actually take a quick break because I know that's one of 2 long games, and just get a drink of water. For those who needs to run to the bathroom, but just a quick 5-minute break at the most, and then we'll hop back on to game number 3.
So our viewers,
we'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome back to the SciStorm Esports Network. I'm your host, Chicken Man, here to bring you your weekly esports results and highlights from all the major tournaments going on this past week. Let's start with the biggest esport tournament ever to exist this week, the International. Things kicked off with the regional qualifiers for the massive Dota 2 tournament as the South American and Eastern European teams fought for the single qualifying spot in each region.
Powerful Wish! This gets blown up eventually. The Aegis, it will get popped, but he's coming back up again. And do they have enough to take out Kostabile? Because it does not look like they do as they blow up Wish, and they're gonna focus on this throne. This is looking like the end here, Purge. They tried to throw everything they could, but Kostabile will not be stopped, cannot stop, and there it is. SG is going to the International.
Comes and Team Spirit ready to go in. Taro
Off-sentry combo on the low ground.
walks forward. Alacrity onto Smiling Knight. They want to find that back line, but the Curse Crown is there. Oh, the stun, it catches
there's
afterwards,
2.
and there's the call. What a connection. Yataro jumps in. Never a chance. Team Spirit makes the play, finds the kill. They're going to TI Trent, and they're going to be very happy about it indeed.
Team Spirit and SG Esports are the first teams qualified for the International. The rest of the regions will play over the next couple of weeks to see who will join the invited teams, and the group stage starts on August 5th. That's all the Dota news this week as everyone is preparing for the International. But let's head over to League of Legends, where just like last week, we have a huge amount of games to cover. We'll get started in North America with the LCS, where TSM and 100 Thieves are currently tied for first place in the group stage.
But it's secured by Spica. FlyQuest cannot get the steal. They jump in. They're trying to go for the YOLO play. You only live once, but you're gonna die twice. What in the hell is this? What? Run. Palafox is going in. The fight ain't done. Palafox is gonna die. Dreams is gonna die. It's a conga line down the top lane river.
100 Thieves also doing well in the LCS Academy. Their Academy team holding down the top spot as they head into Week 5.
He just goes straight forward. The ulti is good enough for Ezreal from downtown. It's Team Luke. It's going to finish off the fight, and Viego's still living, but Contracts, he's chasing for more. He wants to get this kill. He will nab it, and now Harry has nothing he can do. Contracts going to pop the stopwatch. Team Luke is getting in there. Harry actually finds the outplay, and now he's going to defend the base, but Contract is going around as Harry makes an anime in his own base. Will actually defend it. So nice from the Viego, as Contracts is strong, but not that strong.
In Brazil, it's Flamengo Esports still undefeated in the Campeonato Brasileiro. For the Turkish Champions League, Galatasaray Esports and NASR Esports are both undefeated and tied for first. In the League of Legends Japan League, it's Rascal Jester in the top spot. In Latin America, Infinity Gaming is holding down first place with 3 teams tied for second right behind them. For the League of Legends Pro League in China, we have Edward Gaming and LNG Esports with undefeated records.
What these spears can't do. Doomby gets out, Callista does fall. The rest of the solo laners from the side of RNG are here, but it might be a little bit too late. Here's the showstopper. Doomby has fallen. Now it's a 2v4. As you can see, Xiaohu and Cryan trying their best. The hail of arrows is enough to take down the Crocodile in the mid lane. Double kill for LWX. Triple kill for LWX. Gets his first 3 kills of the game. And that might just be the game, as FBX are 4 men strong.
The LCK had games in both their main league as well as the Challengers League.
A minute left.
Esports and Damwon Gaming, along with their Challengers League counterparts, are in the top 2 spots of each of those group stages.
You're just going to pay for it. You're going to die. Well, it goes empty. They're engaging onto Rich. Probably the target that Nongshim want them to engage onto, but that is the change. They are going to connect onto Peanut. Means that these arrows land so easily as Lava distorts forward, distorts back to keep himself alive as Gori does go golden, but he's in a precarious spot now. Henna just free hitting off the backside. Hoya doing ridiculous things on the Gwen as we expect. And Fred and Breon are just steamrolling this game. I mean, this game.
And finally, the League of Legends European Championship has Misfits Gaming leading the pack.
It's not going to be enough. It is Mickey that goes down first, Caps that goes down second, and Labrov goes all the way forward, just unable to find the death sentence. 3 members of G2 blown up from a fantastic flank.
Without hesitation, self-made kicks Caps in the face. Reckless is going to lose his life as well, and in dominating fashion, Vitality are smashing.
Those tournaments will be running for at least a few more weeks, in some cases well over a month. So
were they able to hear us on the
league
stream?
Results for you every week as we get closer to the World
Can they hear us
Championships,
in the stream
which
when
the
we
winning
talk
teams from these brackets will be qualified for. Don't forget to subscribe so you can keep up with those results as they roll in. Now, to cap off our MOBA segment today, the Heroes of the Storm Community Clash League has narrowed down their teams to the top 4.
That's gonna be it, most likely. The Leyline Seal Apocalypse combo wasn't good enough, as Granite had an impossible choice to make. They kept trying to find a window, find it over and over in those difficult situations, but Wildheart outlasted them, outpaced them. They had the macro advantage, they had the early top push that made such an issue for Granite in their defense. 2 impossible choices, Granite doubted in the middle, and now Wildheart going for the core. 2-1, they're gonna make it 3-1, GG.
Going to be a lot of damage onto this Joanna, but the Gust misses. It doesn't matter. The Joanna still goes down. Nasmus is getting very low on the Dahaka. He gets picked off as well. A double kill goes over to the side of Chili Mountain as they're chasing in onto this Junkrat. An unstoppable Azerite is able to back away. Heavy trying to make some big plays. Make is going to force them away. Draded does get the VP. Phase shift from Heavy is going to be available, but here's the win condition from Chili Mountain. It's through top lane. They're trying to rush into this. Zeratul and Brightwing trying to make the big defensive play, but Heavy goes down. The Zeratul will fall. It's going to be all 5 members going down on map number 5.
Simplicity, Chili Mountain, Storm Esports, and 30K will fight it out in the playoffs in a couple of weeks. Now let's check out what's going on in StarCraft 2, as there were 2 big tournaments that finished up this week. First up, the next SC2 Masters tournament, which ended with Trap taking down Solar in the grand finals 4-3.
The early game wasn't good for you. You're losing drones like crazy to a DT on the 4th. Drones over here aren't having a good time. The Sentry force fields are holding you up a whole bunch, and the worker count is just plummeting as Trap attacks on in. He blinks on forward. Couple of Maulers are dodging the bars. It just lands between them, and it looks as though Trap's attack is going to make it happen. Solar, he can see the frustration.
And next up, the Team Liquid Star League 7, where the unstoppable man Trap defeated yet another Zerg, this time world champion Raynor.
Inevitable at this point. Trap has brought it back to game 7. He's defended the Queen Walk across the map, and he is looking to take TSL 7 championship. It's happening, and Raynor is just desperately trying to hold on. No, not gonna happen. Trap, the victor. 6:30 a.m. Korea. Lost against Raynor earlier today, brings it back from such a deficit.
Trap has looked fantastic this year, and taking down 2 major victories in one weekend really displays his dominance. Now that we've covered MOBA and RTS, there's only one genre left today, but there is a lot of FPS to cover, so let's jump into some Valorant with a
Are you certain? All right, guys, we're back.
Right, so we're hopping right into game number 3. So what do you see here in the picks and bans here so far, Raph?
Yeah, before we hopped off the stream, I did suspect that Charlie will be going back to mid, and it looks like Joe Mama is banking on that. They've banned his Ahri, his LeBlanc, and I'm betting that they're going to ban the Diana here. We'll see. On the other side, they did ban that Swain. Swain did prove to be pretty tough to deal with. And Lauren does play Malzahar quite frequently, so it looks like they're okay with her settling with the Ziggs pick. We see the set ban on the other side. We do have Oyo playing again. Do we?
Yeah. Looks like Jolly Boy is back in for Oyolicious. And one thing to note here, you'll see that we've seen an Ahri and LeBlanc ban from Team Joe Mama in every game here. They really want to make sure they don't see that on Charlie's, and rightfully so. Charlie is incredible at those champions. And on the side of the pentakill factory, Nautilus is back.
That's huge.
So we saw that impact in the first game, so they're bringing that back, and with a ban on Volibear, who had huge who pretty much carried apart from the damage coming from Nelio. That Volibear was everywhere in the last game, and you'll see that the Malzahar was banned all 3 games too, and that's to prevent Big Buoy from getting that Malzahar.
I think the reason being for that is because Malzahar's ult would render Charlie useless, right? And so that makes an easy gank for the jungler. I think that is a good ban.
Yeah, and funny enough, Big Buoy only started playing this game about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and as you can see, she's gone so good that they really need to ban her Malzahar in every game here. And I'm willing to see. I'm gonna see that throughout the whole season, that Charlie's LeBlanc and Ahri's are gonna be banned throughout the season, and Big Buoy's Malzahar is gonna be banned throughout the season as well.
I was just about to say, I think we're gonna see the LeBlanc and the Ahri bans throughout the entire season. I know in the banning phase for my team, if we're playing against Charlie, those are gonna be my first 2 bans as well.
And Raph, we got plenty of bans for you too. Your Warwick and Vi and Dr. Mundo, those are problems.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I was anticipating that. We'll prepare for that, but we'll get to that when we play.
Well, let me ask you guys this. How long have you guys been playing League of Legends total?
Started for me in college. I stopped towards the latter half of college, and then I picked it back when the pandemic started. So I played a lot in college. That was the heaviest playtime that I had.
When was that, Raph? I hate to age you here.
2013.
But
2013.
So I played a bit after that. Started playing around 2015, and like Raph, kind of really picked it up a lot again when the pandemic hit. And I've been playing with Big Booey, Jolly Boy, and Raph a good amount. So it's to say the least, it's really fun to see this league spread out. Groups of friends that normally play together, because we all have a good understanding how each other plays, and it makes us think a little bit more critically and change up our game strategy a little bit.
And I'm willing to bet, Keith, that we both got started in League because friends invited us, right? I don't think I would have ever joined League on my own. It's definitely there's a social aspect to it.
Absolutely. Sometimes there's nothing more frustrating than playing a game of League by yourself. So being able to play with friends.
Based on the bans and the picks that we have so far, any big surprises here?
That Nautilus got through. That's huge. The Ezreal pick is also very good.
Yeah, there's a lot of new champions here on the board.
Actually, the surprising thing is the Quinn by Charlie.
And Jolly Boy's Mordekaiser. His Mordekaiser is probably one of his best champions. So this is going to be an interesting game for Jolly Boy.
So I guess as a player, you really have to be flexible and versatile to be able to play multiple heroes because of this ban mechanic. And at the same time, you cannot disclose that this is your best hero to your opponents, and you just have to be able to play them equally as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, and because of how large the champion pool is, I wouldn't be surprised if, soon we'll see 10 bans from each team, just because there's hundreds of champions now, and a lot of them have really great kits. And so as that champion pool, this game has been around since, I want to say 2010. I think it's in its 11th season. So, that ever-expanding champion pool, I think we'll see 10 bans from each team coming to pro play, in the next couple of years.
And banning becomes a bit more crucial in official games like this. Reason being is because when you play ranked, you're unable to tell what champions the enemy team plays, right? And so your bans are typically just whoever, like the champions that are considered broken. In this case, you can do your scouting report, right? You can look up what champions people play. And like what Keith said, we play a lot with each other, and so we can almost tell what champions are almost a must-need ban, right?
So what champions are those must-need? That, let's say you're playing ladder and you don't know your opponent's tendencies and you don't know what their favorite heroes are. What are your typical bans, right? Did you say broken? Which ones are those?
So I call any champion that kills me broken. But I typically play ADC or support. So playing in that bot lane. So I typically like to ban supports that have a lot of engage potential. Just because as the ADC, I tend to be squishy, and I tend to be important in those longer team fights where I can deal that damage per second, that's also known as DPS, and stay alive. And I do have to lean on my support to be able to peel for me and keep me alive. So really, either those tanks that have engage or even the assassins that can. We saw that in the last game with Charlie's Irelia, which isn't normally considered an assassin, but can have those assassin tendencies where they can ignore the front line and get to the squishies almost at will and just wreak havoc there.
So as we start this game, what do you guys pick to take this game 3, the deciding game? Based on what you've seen so far in their play.
I'm never going to bet against my team. So, especially with that duo damage lane down there at bot, you'll see Trillion having a Senna and the interesting thing about Senna, she's probably the only support in the game that also deals AD damage. Well, I shouldn't say the only, but she does AD damage as a marksman, and you don't see a lot of marksman supports. And the interesting thing about her kit is that not only can she deal damage to the other team, that same ability targeting an ally champion actually heals them. So kind of that double threat there.
To Summoner's Rift.
All right,
my
well,
pick-
take it away, casters. Because I'm gonna listen to you on the stream, but go ahead and make your pick, Raph, and take it away.
Sure. Yeah, my pick is the Pentakill Factory here. I'm a huge fan of tanks, strong engages, and we have the Nautilus, the Mordekaiser. I think that's going to be difficult to deal with. One thing that is interesting is Jomama's team comp, a lot of damage, not a lot of peel. So I'm looking for early kills on their end, right, just to get themselves steamrolling. But at the end of the day, on a 5v5, I just give it to Pentakill Factory here.
Yeah, let us know in the chat who you think's gonna take this one home. This is a game 3, so really exciting stuff here. Although this isn't part of the season record, there's always bragging rights.
Always bragging rights.
And you know that these are the two teams that are named after their team captain, so lots to bear there.
Yeah, what's actually really funny is, yes, we have Charlie and yes, we have Joe as the team captains, but we see a lot of plays being made by everyone else, right? So don't let the team name fool you. I suspect that later on in the season, we're going to find out that some of these other players have very key champs that we're going to be banning, right? But as of right now, I guess there's that fear factor from both Charlie and Joe.
So lots of Pentakill Factory coming from the chat. And let's see if they'll live up to their name and find themselves a Pentakill this game.
What are the odds that Charlie's going to get a Pentakill this game?
You know, if I were a betting man, I would bet that either Shorty with the Silas is going to get either Shorty or Waka's Xin Zhao would get the Pentakills here. But we'll see.
I don't think a Pentakill is going to happen just because our past 2 games have been quite a low kill count until in the latter half. But I'm willing to bet that when a gank comes Charlie's way, he'll come out with a double kill. He'll kill both the jungler and the mid laner. That Quinn is one of the worst matchups that I personally hate. So.
And true to the first 2 games, again we're seeing Big Buoy following Charlie around. And she's really held her own in the lane at least. You know, like you mentioned in our other game wrap, we would want to see a little bit more response from Big Buoy as Charlie. You know, Charlie's proven to really like roaming and really making sure that his presence is felt all across the map. So whether that's following him or making a gank into the other side of the map,
right,
that's going to be a big adjustment they need to make.
One thing to note here is top lane, it's almost like things have been reversed. Oya's playing pretty passive while Diana's pushing up here. Checking the farm. Oya's ahead by 5 in farm, but he is lower. And looks like Diana's going to push those minions into his tower, causing a bit of a disruption in farming. So we'll see how that plays out. Xin Zhao is top. We see Silas collapsing there. This might be a fight in the jungle. We'll see how that plays out. We see a ping, so it looks like they do acknowledge that someone's there. Bots having their exchanges of abilities.
So pretty even trades down bot.
Again, we see Charlie roaming. He's in a position to follow up in case there's a fight. Notice how Lauren didn't quite follow. So again, Charlie with the first step on that roam.
And although Jolly Boy is getting pushed up into his tower, you can see that patience coming from Jolly Boy, as he's still able to outfarm Diana even as that wave approaches his turret. Great job freezing the lane in a really good position there for Jolly Boy.
Yeah, Ori's doing a very great job. Diana does have a ward in the river, so it might make it a little bit harder for Silas to gank. But I am looking, if I'm Silas here, I see Diana constantly pushed up. That's an easy gank.
And then on the other side of the coin there, we'll see a lead there in farm for Waka Waka over Shorty Shorty. And same goes for our bot laners. A small lead going to the side of Team Joe Mama.
I like this. Pretty even in gold here. We're 6 minutes in, not too much action, but Oyo is hurt. What do you think? Should he back? Should he continue farming? I
No,
think
his shields are pretty big, so this is gonna be.
This is huge.
Yep.
Diana
Just
has
like
no
that.
mana to fight. No mana to fight. Here
And
we go.
looks like Jolly Boy's gonna
Oyo's
win this
hurt.
fight here.
And he
Great
gets first.
patience there from Jolly Boy.
You're right. That patience did pay off. He has the farm lead. And now the kill. But here we see a fight coming down in bot. Charlie
Flash
is
is
down
forced.
here. The Ziggs did not follow again. Charlie with the first step on the roam.
And that is
Let's
4
walk it
at
up.
the bottom lane.
Fortunately, no deaths on Joe Mama's side, but there is dragon pressure here. Get the dragon. Wow. I'm surprised I didn't go for dragon here.
And an ult coming from Big Buoy to make sure that that Pentakill Factory is not on the dragon right now, although it might have wasted her ult, as they were not anywhere near the dragon.
I'd like to see Silas get a bit more aggressive. That's definitely a shot call for dragon. You forced a lot of flashes down bot, right? You took down their health. That puts you in a prime position to take dragon, especially Infernal early.
At the very least, ward around that dragon so they have an understanding of whether or not this is the time to get it, or if in a couple of seconds that they'd be able to take that dragon safely.
Right.
But really, no information was learned after that fight, although it was still a big fight. And because of that, Joe Waka Waka is actually in the dragon right now, sneaking it yet again, much like he did with Volley Bear last game.
That's actually quite a risky play there. Reason being is because there's no vision, right, from his side. Xin Zhao is a very aggressive jungler. He can, as you can see, solo dragon. But again, that vision, very risky.
And to all of our new players, you might have noticed the different dragons. You'll see it up above in the scoreboard. Sometimes it's a red dragon, a blue, a light blue, and a brown. Each of those dragons give special abilities. Oh, and we have a fight topside.
I think Oyo wins this yet again. And here we go. If Oyo gets steamrolling, we're going to have the same problem in game 1 where he just splits, pushes down to the second tier tower, and Joe Mama's going to have to respond.
Yep, I was really surprised to see Oyo's Mordekaiser not banned. Again, that's one of his best champs. And a champ that's really scary to lane against because he has so much shields and damage, all while being tanky. And we see some aggression from Team Pentakill here over on the bot side.
Bot side engaging. There's
Lots
also a
of
fight
fights
up
all
here.
around the map.
I don't think Joe wins this. Mord is too big. And again, we see Charlie with the first step on the roam. We really need Ziggs to follow on that if they want to stay in the game. Unfortunately, that roam mechanic, that map awareness and pressure is definitely a higher elo play. You see that in the gold and plat tiers.
They're putting... Oh, go ahead.
No, that's all I had to mention.
So they were putting a lot of damage here on the bot lane, but Silas is really close by. So...
And you know that's how top that top has such an advantage where he's soloing Rift Herald. Right? He walks away from lane, he can afford the farm loss to go ahead and secure a jungle objective. That's huge. That relieves some pressure from Joe and allows him to remain bot where he's needed the most.
And his minions are in a perfect spot for him to yet again freeze the lane, deny Diana the gold, and just increase that gap between the two up top.
Oyo is ahead in level as well, experience. This is tough.
We see Ziggs making her... That's a great ult from Lauren, but not quite getting that kill.
I will say, I'm glad that Ziggs did make that roam top. We do see the Quinn missing, so again, like I mentioned earlier, if I'm Ziggs, I'll take my chances either top or bot, right, to follow. If not, commit to the game. If you look here, Team Joe Mama is actually doing a better job of putting down pink wards. In the last game, we didn't see, or do I have that flip? There was one team that didn't have too many pink wards out. And now we see an even amount. Well, Charlie just put one down. Joe Mama's bot getting very aggressive. Joe is in their jungle. They might look to dive here. We'll see how this plays out. Joe shows himself.
There with
the ADC. There he goes.
Great ult from the Senna to keep the Xin Zhao alive.
And they get both bot champions here. That's huge.
That dive was executed perfectly. They get both kills, keeping everyone alive. And we have the Quinn ganking bot. But with 3 alive, we'll see if this is going to turn out to be a good idea. They got a trade there.
Probably goes 1 for 1 there.
And just like
Charlie
that,
going for the 1 for 1 actually, I would say, is to his benefit. Reason being is because Dragon's coming up. If Xin Zhao was still up, he would prep for drag, right? It's coming up with either warding, clearing out jungle camps down there. But looks like...
Spoken like a true jungler there.
Look, man, the moment you see that little hourglass show up at the dragon, you know I'm always there.
Yep. You are a problem out there, my friend.
Silas coming up here. We'll see how Lauren gets out, if she does.
Colt ult's coming out for a big buoy.
That puts the Pentakill Factory in a good position to get dragged here. There's no mid pressure. So if I'm Charlie in the Pentakill, go straight for Dragon, which looks like they're doing. They're collapsing on that. If I'm Joe, just let it go. Which he is doing.
Yep, that frees up Oyo to remain in the top lane because he knows that his team has the advantage. And there it is. The solo kill yet again on top lane.
You know, despite the kill lead, we still have pretty equal gold. The only problem is Oyo split pushing is going to be a big problem.
It is. There's a lot of gold on that top lane there.
You know, as a jungler, it's quite hard to pick. Do you help top lane, right, just to prevent that steamrolling of top? Or do you continue to let your bot lane win?
Yeah, a question I'm unable to answer because it's always
myself included.
And here we have that engage from Nautilus and the quick TP coming from Jolly Boy. Great team play right there. Although
they're gonna push. They invested a
Looked
lot.
like it was.
They're gonna push.
There's
here.
Jolly Boy looking to push even further. Great arcane shift by the Ezreal there to get away.
And great rotate by Charlie here, covering top lane.
Aaron, Joe, Waka Waka, they're just in time so that
both teams are
Charlie
fighting for
doesn't
first
execute.
tower, and it looks like it might go to Pentakill Factory. It's another goal advantage there.
I was about to say they were starting to separate themselves there, but Charlie finds himself killed by the Zen Zhao.
Looks like Shorty might die here too.
Bit of an overextension by Shorty. Great job capitalizing on that by the bot lane.
Yeah, as a jungler, you never want to steal that jungle camp because they have vision from lane. Yes, Team Pentakill does have vision in the jungle, but that's just not a good spot to be in, especially if you expect bot lane to walk through there just to, farm their lane.
So we still
Rift
have
Herald
a
is-
small lead on the side of Team Joe Mama here. And you were saying about the Rift Herald, Raph?
It's coming up. Joe's in a good position to take it. We'll see how this plays out.
Not
Looks
a
like
lot
Charlie's
of vision
rotating.
from both teams.
Charlie's rotating here. I think Diana's out. I don't think Joe's going to give up Rift Herald.
That
Or
is
he
an
does. He's leading
overextension
Rift.
by Diana here.
Joe's going. Turn. Here's the fight. Charlie goes. Oya cleans up. I think Oya gets top tower with this push. We got a bot lane fight here. I think Draven's going to die. And they finish off the Nautilus. Double kill for Team Joe Mama. That's huge.
That is big. Especially with those kills coming on to Senna.
If I'm bot lane, I'm pushing. We have Mordekaiser pushing for that tower. But it looks like bot lane's choosing to back. Nope. They stop their back and they push.
So any changes to your game prediction here, Raph, seeing the state of the game right now with an 800 or a 300 gold lead on the side of Team Joe Mama here?
I still stick with my pick just because of the team composition late game. Right now it's fairly even. They're doing a good job of, making sure trades are even between objectives and kills. But really it comes down to late game, which team comp is better. We'll see.
Jolly Boy has been proven to be yet again the X factor in this game, with 5 kills under his belt, a few of them being solo kills.
I may be getting ahead of myself, but I think the player of this game series goes to Jolly Boy. Even in game 2, the lack of his presence was felt, right? We saw a steamrolling happen, and the moment you throw him back in the picture, we see a more even game. So clearly I think
Absolutely
that's
agree.
better.
And for all of our players in the league that are tuning in, I know you all are already thinking about banning some of these champions coming from Oyo. That set from the first game, this Mordekaiser, along with Charlie's bans. Looks like this team is poised to do quite well in the league.
How is Charlie's criminal? Let's see. So they've kept Charlie at bay here. I guess the bans did work to their advantage, right? Banning LeBlanc and Ari. Would it have been a different game if he had one of those champions? I think so, just because of how good he is with those. But still too early in the game to know if Quinn does make an impact as a champion. Here they're going to fight for Dragon. Lauren is late on the rotate here, but she does have ult. We'll see if she goes ahead and throws that.
That's 2 quick kills coming towards the pentakill factory on the bot lane. So a majority of that damage.
They take out the jungler. I think this dragon's pretty secured here.
That is an easy dragon to the side of pentakill factory.
You see a flash from Quinn.
That was a pretty surprising flash coming from Charlie there. I think he could have just walked out.
I do too. But here we are approaching the 20-minute mark. I do expect a lane swap here. Bot lane's going top, reason being is they want Baron pressure. Right, those with TPs go bot just so that they can TP to Baron if that does so happen. But we'll see if they make that adjustment. Strong push by Team Pentakill here. Get 2 Rift Herald hits.
Alright, so this could be an opening. Shorty did just jump in and was killed immediately. And down goes the Mordekaiser.
Here we go, it's a wild goose chase. There you go.
Great answer from Team Joe Mama. Brings them back up to virtually tie the gold here. And I wonder if they're going to be sieging or going for that Baron. Looks like they're going to try and do both.
Team
Setting up
Pentakill
for
got
Baron here.
a little greedy there, right? Whenever you get a big team win, which we saw in Dragon, you definitely have gold, right, to spend. And there, instead of resetting, they chose to push for Rift Herald. Now, if I were to advise them, use Rift Herald to get that first initial tower and then reset. But they did get greedy to get the second tower. I'm not saying that was a bad decision. It just didn't work out to their favor.
And look at all these blue wards coming on the side of
Baron.
Of Team Joe Mama here. So really taking full advantage of that win that they just got. And let's
like I
see
mentioned earlier, Team Joe Mama got a team win earlier. They did not reset, so Pentakill Factory is looking for a fight here. Took too long to make the decision on Baron. They didn't reset, and now they give up Baron. Team Pentakill increasing the gold lead, getting the Baron buff. I fully expect Oya to split push after getting this Baron. It's going to be a tough response from Joe Mama's team here.
That was a big stolen ult by Shorty's Silas, giving Big Bowie and Team Joe Mama a taste of their own medicine, and taking the Baron to boot.
You see Charlie pushing mid with the Baron buff, however, Joe Mama does answer that.
And like you said there, oh, looks
Oya's
like
back.
Oyo's gonna back there instead of going with the split push. Might be a good idea because he has a lot of gold.
So for my league players, we saw 2 examples of why resetting is important, right? After every team fight, you try to assess what more can we take without, risking too much. Unfortunately, each team did get greedy. Joe Mama getting greedy with Baron presence. Again, in an even gold lead, in an even gold situation there, whoever resets gets the items, right? It doesn't matter how much gold you have.
So resetting, for those that are newbies to the game, that is going back. Huh.
That was a questionable teleport there.
Bit of a misclick there coming from Big Bowie.
Most definitely. So Team Pentakill steamrolling here. I'm surprised Oya's not split pushing. It looks like they want another team win just for a team push. Silas
And here,
remaining mid.
We'll probably see that dive after they push into this lane. Good damage coming from the Ezreal there.
Yeah, Joe Mama doing a good job of holding them off despite Baron buff. I think Silas needed to drop with Oya there just for a full team commitment, but they're not capturing much here. Joe Mama doing a good job of hanging in there despite the Baron buff. Bot lane though making a push here. Looks like they will get the tower. But Team Joe Mama looking to collapse. This might be another fight. Unfortunately, I give this to Team Pentakill just because they have the Nautilus to engage. But if I am Team Pentakill, I am going back to reset, like what we talked about. Dragon is coming up soon. You don't want to be in this situation. Yep.
Clearing the wards, making sure they see where
there's a fight.
Joe Mama's gonna be.
Joe cannot die here. Joe Mama, Team Joe Mama has to respond. They do.
And a bit of a misplay from the Nautilus in there, jumping right into 4 people. And 4 down on the side of Team
If I'm Team Joe Mama, Xin Zhao goes for Dragon. Everyone else pushes to mid. But it looks like they just want to secure the Dragon, which is not a bad call either.
So Team Joe Mama still has some life in them, not quite giving up, and making this an interesting game.
This game is essentially two boxers just throwing jabs at each other. We see a lot of fighting. We see a lot of exchanges. However, the gold lead isn't too big.
Yep, 33 kills at 25 minutes. They are active and looking for fights throughout this game. Makes for a exciting game 3.
Oh yeah, a lot closer than game 1. In game 1, we did see a big difference in dragon count. We did see that 22-11 lead. However, here dragons are even, kills are almost even, golds almost even. Slight lead by Pentakill Factory just because they have more towers, they have more pressure. But we'll see what Team Joe Mama does to respond to that.
And there's still that 8-2 problem up top. Looks like he's going to make his way top to start split pushing again. He does have his TP up.
That is very true.
So a TP advantage over on the side of the Pentakill Factory, even though Team Joe Mama have two TPs on their side. As a reminder, TPs are their teleports. So those colorful spells on the side of our champions' pictures on the left and right there.
Team Joe Mama doing a great job of clearing their jungle camps. Or, actually, Pentakill might be clearing their jungle camps for them too.
So Trillion Senna manages to stay alive. And a quick reset for them to get some health back.
I'm wondering why the Ez ult was shot there. Was it to stop it back, I think?
Not quite sure because nobody was really low enough to get the execute or even force them to go back. And looks like Jolly Boy is up top again, being a menace and looking to force a fight there.
Yeah, the problem about getting a top going like that is you need to send 2 champions, right, to match him.
Oh, and here's Charlie.
Wow,
Great
that's
kill
a big
by
play.
Big Buoy.
Great play by Ziggs here.
Relieving a little bit of pressure.
If I'm Team Joe Mama, pressure the map. Lanes are being pushed in, but if a fight does come down to it, it is a 5v4. So I would force that. Baron is coming up too, so I would like to see Joe Mama's bot side move up, shift over towards Baron. We have 3 bot. That's bad positioning for Baron here. It looks like they are making their way up to Baron. Kind of a slow rotate.
And Ezreal still backing. Only 10 seconds left on Charlie's death timer, so he will be back in time.
Oh,
and a duel going on
Jolly Boy
between
here.
Joe and Jolly Boy.
If
and
Joe
a great
goes down,
flash.
3 Baron. What happens here? We'll see.
What a great fight, and Jolly Boy was able to take one with him despite it being a 2v1.
Both junglers.
And they have vision on Joe Waka Waka, and he is low. They're gonna want to punish this for sure and secure that Baron.
Now that Xin Zhao's down, you go for Baron. Make a huge push here. Team Pentakill really taking advantage of bad positioning.
Great use of their vision there. And that slow rotate to the Baron was punished by Team Pentakill Factory. Yet it's still a little bit over 1,000 gold lead as we close in on 30 minutes here.
I do expect this gold lead to start increasing if Pentakill does secure this Baron. I'm expecting at least 2 towers down, maybe an inhib. So we'll see. But if I'm Team Pentakill here, disengage as soon as possible, reset. Oh, looks like they're opting to fight. Raven might die. Nope. Gets out. Looks like they're going straight for Dragon here. I would reset. If you look at Silas, their jungler, quite low. Draven's low, but they're committing to it. Team Joe Mama has to respond here. Go for Dragon. Take them out. You guys have reset new items. Fight this. Ezreal.
Looks like they're banking on that 5v4, and they killed that pretty quickly.
This is huge. Like I mentioned, I think the Gold Beast is going to start to just pile on. They got to reset. Team Pentakill wins the team fight here.
And we'll see if they'll force this fight now that they have a more sizable gold advantage at 3,500.
Oyo making his way back up top. Looks like he's going to force 2 to answer him with the split push. In this case, I would just go 1-0-4, so that's 1 top with Oyo, 0 in the mid lane, and 4 bot.
Now, seeing Jolly Boy up top, if you're Team Joe Mama, are you forcing a fight here knowing that this is a 5v4 and Jolly Boy doesn't have his TP?
I would say you have to commit either a 5v4 down bot or a 5v1 up top and just, I don't want to say a base race, but take Oyo out, go back and defend bot.
Oh, looks like Joe was caught here. My mistake. Charlie was the one that was caught, and true to what we just said, they are looking for fights here, and Jolly Boy is unable to join.
Looks like Ezreal's gonna match Mordekaiser top, but if I'm Joe Mama, I'm pushing mid or bot. Someone does need to come up to help.
Ezreal can't do this by himself, but it looks like Jolly Boy is gonna be piecing out of there.
So yeah, in the case where Pentakill Factory is split like that, Joe Mama needs to commit to a fight. Right, that's gonna be their best odds. Despite the kill count being quite close, there is a larger 3k gold gap between Team Pentakill and Team Joe Mama. However, if Joe Mama continues to get these picks on Charlie, on Team Pentakill, they do have a chance of coming back into this game. This game's not quite over yet, folks. Here comes Charlie again.
Looking
Charlie
for the
with
quick
side step.
assassination.
Ziggs has been taken down. Silas keeps the fight going.
And maybe is caught a little too deep in there.
Yep, Team Pentakill couldn't quite follow.
Team Joe Mama was able to punish that.
Here comes Jolly Boy.
And Jolly Boy is here to wreak some havoc.
I wonder how this plays out. Looks like they're rotating bot, with Quinn rotating top. Jolly Boy denying Team Joe Mama's jungle farm.
And Jolly Boy still has his ult, so curious to see who's he's gonna pick to bring into his Coliseum and smack with his hammer. Oh, looks like we got a challenger here. Oh, quick flash from Trillion to get out safely. Oh, Xin Zhao is hanging around up there. You see that Xin Zhao in the mid lane? Oh, he is gone now.
Yeah. Dragon coming up. Charlie's gonna look to reset for Dragon here. Oyo does have TP, so it looks like he's gonna reset and go top. Team Pentakill is getting ready for this Dragon. They do have a lot of deep wards. If you look at the map, we have 3 red wards all lined up from Team Pentakill here. None from Team Joe Mama just yet. I think this drag goes to Team Pentakill. Let's see how this plays out. Diana does have TP for this fight. And Quinn does not. If I'm Team Joe Mama, I'm teleporting forcing
this
the fight.
is a big 2v1 for Jolly Boy, and he's gonna get one. Might get two here.
Nope,
and
he's
here
gonna
it
kill
is.
with a follow. Here it goes. That shield. Just when you think you got him.
What
If I was
strong performance here from Jolly Boy.
Diana should have TP'd in. We have Charlie just pushing top. I think this is game. Looks like Team Pentakill is opting not to get Dragon here and just to push in just to get inhib.
It's a good TP from Jolly Boy to prevent their minions from getting killed. And with 5 down, I think that is a victory for Team Charlie and the Pentakill Factory.
Now, Team Joe Mama did make it a 2-game series, but
ultimately that Mordekaiser just proved to be too much for the team.
So everyone in the comments, drop your player of the game, who you think was the impact player. And yes, thank you again for tuning in. It's been a pleasure.
We're gonna welcome Seth and KJ back into.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty exciting third game there. There's many times where they were just neck to neck until the very end there where CPF pulled away. And that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was
So-
really close, right? And I had it wrong. It was actually not a score, but actual champion kills. And that's what you guys call them, champions, not characters, not heroes, champion.
Champions.
That is correct.
Yep.
Yep.
Got it.
But yeah, great game. But unfortunately, this doesn't count in our tournament standings. This was just a show match. And if I was one of the players, I probably wouldn't have revealed my best characters yet at that game. But it was a really exciting game nonetheless. So congratulations. I'd like to do some interviews, but I'm not sure if the players are available.
Yeah, we could check on them, and then in the meantime, we can talk about the schedule once again while we're getting that set up.
Yeah.
See
So
what
if we put up the schedule real quick, we can talk about what's coming up next, and what to expect. Again, our broadcasts are going to be Mondays and Tuesdays, and so the next broadcast will be on Monday, which is July 12th, and 7 p.m. as well. And so that game, we're gonna see CPF again, and take on the SFC Telecom T1. So I'm excited to see that. But let me see if we have our player of the game winner here. Looks like it's gonna be Jolly Boy, which I've heard his name a lot throughout the cast, right? Jolly Boy. Stay away from Jolly Boy. He has his ultimate, and he's gonna do a double kill as soon as he gets close to any other characters or champions.
Yeah, he was just everywhere and really just laying down the damage, and at the same time taking damage with his shields and his tankiness. Really all around great performance there.
Yeah, if I'm SFC Telecom T1, I'd be banning that champion right off the bat, right? So
Yeah, I'm excited to see what else Jolly Boy has up his sleeve. What other champions? So far, amazing performances from both the set and Mordekaiser.
yeah, it was a very exciting game. The second game was, it wasn't close, but this third game, it was run neck to neck up until the very end. So it was a really good game. Yeah, we have some banter on chat here. We're not scared. So I'm looking forward to this Monday matchup. So do we have? Can we do an interview, or
Yeah, so we'll pull in Jolly Boy into.
Right.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have a webcam, but he is available for the
right.
audio. And here you are.
All right. Congratulations, Jolly Boy, for being voted as the most valuable player on this show match. So, how do you guys feel winning as a team tonight?
Yeah, it feels good. Definitely helped that I was just split pushing base most of the game. And I think just as long as you farm, you'll get strong. So that's the way I play.
So Jolly Boy, real quick, with those TP plays when you did gank or when you did choose to split push, was that your call? Was that Charlie's call? Talk me through that.
Yeah, I think most recently, every time I notice a fight, I just kind of look for a ward or something, and then start to TP down there. If it's a good idea, great. If it's not, I'm probably dead.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we saw huge macro plays, great decisions there. That's why I wanted to see if that was, from your own accord or through Charlie's.
So yes.
And you were a huge part in both games 1 and 3. What do you think attributed to that impact in the game?
I think a lot of it was just freezing the lane and beating my lane and farm, not allowing any ganks to occur. Just because I was so close to turret a lot of the game, and the enemy laner wouldn't step up. So that whole time I was just free farming, and from there just kind of looking for opportunities for a teleport or for a fight, for a gank from my own team, to try to get kills in gold.
And for the rest of the season, it looks like you made such an impact in this game that teams might consider banning 1 Set and also 2 Mordekaiser. Are we expecting a wide array of top champions in your arsenal, or are you more of like a 1-trick or 2-trick wonder here?
I got a few more champions up my sleeve, and if they do ban Set and Mordekaiser, LeBlanc or Ari is gonna be there. So
that is very true. You're freeing up Charlie, yeah.
Yes. So I think I'm pretty confident that they'll think more about Charlie than my Mordekaiser or Set.
Okay, and if there's one thing you can tell your opposing top laner on one thing he can improve on, right, laning against you, what would it be?
Oof.
Spicy criticism here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just maybe I'm very bad at level 1 trades, or just I feel like Diana is really good at level 1 trades. So I think that would have been a good thing, is just more trades, more harassment. Because Mordekaiser level 1 is not good at all. Because he has no defense with his W, no escapes with his E or engage, and all he has is his hammer. So I think, yeah, definitely more harassment from the other laner.
Okay. I'm gonna tell my top laner that.
Well, congrats again on another amazing couple of games there, Jolly Boy, and congrats on being the player of the week and the W. We'll see you out there on the Rift.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations. All right, so before we end, I want to thank our awesome casters, very professional. It's very impressive hearing you guys talk about the game and making it very understandable to us newbies. Right, and so we'd like to learn more. So we look forward to your next cast. Thank you. Good job, both Keyline and Raph. Well, I think you guys are not playing next week, right? On Monday.
Not on Monday.
Right, so we look forward to your next cast. Before we let you go, any shout outs? Any where can they find you? Your screen name, Raph. I know
we'll have to put in something like your Instagram or Twitter handles showing on the screen.
Yeah, I'm NiceKeith08. Follow me on Instagram, and Keylime on League. Add me. I'm super nice, and we can learn together because I'm not that good.
I also do want to give a big shout out to a couple of friends who don't play League but tune into the broadcast. Major shout out to Twan, my good buddy. A lot of the people that messaged me on Instagram when I posted it on my story. Thank you all for tuning in. It does go to a good cause, so we appreciate your support. Exciting game today. Please expect the rest of the season to go the same. And yeah, follow and I was gonna say subscribe to the League and Cup series at Instagram. Drop your league handles, drop your Instagram handles. We'd like to get to know you guys more. As I mentioned earlier, League is a very social game. Because I think both Keith and I, the moment this broadcast ends, we're gonna be playing till hours we're not supposed to be up. So
Oh, and you can subscribe to the channel. Another shout out to, how could I forget, Storm Gaming again for partnering with us to be able to put this together and give you all a good show, over these next couple of months. So big shout out to them.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
there's
Also,
the Instagram handles for League and Cop series and Storm Game right there showing up.
also, thank you. We have our mod in chat now for Trovo. We have Gabi Dante. We'll be monitoring. She has a big sword in chat now, so make sure you're
behaving
within the rules in the chat. So thank you, Gabi Dante. And like I said, thanks what P Lime said. Thank you, Storm Gaming, for hosting this. And most of all, I want to thank all the viewers that tuned in tonight. Right, we averaged way above our target, and we reached that. So thank you again, and we look forward to everybody joining us again on Monday, July 12th. We're gonna have this time more meaningful games, no more preseason games. It'll be regular season, and games will start to count. So I think we'll be a little bit more competitive. More juices will be flowing and adrenaline of the players. So I'm looking forward to that. So, anything else, KJ?
It's for real on Monday, so be ready. Fireworks coming, right? It's just a show match.
Yep.
Exactly.
All right, so let's end it tonight. And thanks again. Thanks, Keyline. Thanks, Raph. Thanks, KJ. Good night.
Thanks, everyone.